Hello everyone.
Hiya.
Welcome back to the Gibraltar GT.
Yep.
I'm joined with N.
The N of SN.
The N of SN,
Yeah.
Nick.
Yeah.
We're here at round 3.
Yeah, round
This is
3,
actually
game 3.
the top table.
The top table at the moment going on. Knights versus Catachans.
Exactly, yeah. So we have Jay
Yeah.
From Mohawk Miniatures, and he
Yes.
has his Knights,
Yeah.
pure Knights with some Assassins.
Yeah.
And then we have Matt with his Imperial Guard. He's actually playing as Catachans.
Yeah.
They're painted with snowy bases,
Yeah.
which is very interesting.
Yeah.
He's playing
On
as
a Mars
Catachans.
planet.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll go through the list very shortly, but just to let you know, guys, we're actually streaming across the whole weekend.
Yeah.
So we streamed yesterday, we've got one more game after this one today, and then 2 more tomorrow. And
Yeah.
we're only going to be streaming the guys that are in contention to win the event.
Yeah.
So it's only going to be the highest quality footage for you, hopefully, guys, okay?
Hopefully, yeah.
So we've actually changed the board. Previously we had the desert board that looked a little bit like the desert place in Star Wars, which is copyrighted, so
Tatooine,
we can't say that.
Oh, yeah, we can't say that.
It's called Tattoo, something like that. But now we've actually changed it to the big crashed starships that we see at the SN No Retreat and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a fantastic board. You've got a lot of line of sight
So much
blocking.
line of sight blocking.
Yeah.
It's good. It might be good for the Catachans, but it also plays into favour for the Imperial
Knights.
Guard.
Even the Knights, even.
Yeah, exactly.
If you look at most of the scenery there, you can actually hide Knights behind
Exactly,
them.
which is bizarre.
Which is bizarre,
You don't get
you
that a
never
lot.
see that.
And he has 3 tank commanders for the Imperial Guard player, so getting out line of sight of them will be good. So I think we actually have the players deploying very shortly. We're playing again with the SN setup. We have an Eternal War, a Maelstrom of War, and a Tertiary. So the Eternal War is Ascension today. So basically what that means is we have 3 objectives across the center of the board. We're playing Dawn of War deployment. So it's really simple, straight across the middle. Each one of them is worth 1 point if you secure it at the end of your player turn. And you get cumulative scoring if you're a character on that. So interestingly, some of these knights have the character keyword. In fact, 3 of them do. Yeah, exactly. So all 3 of those knights, if they get on an objective, they get cumulative scoring up to a maximum of 3 points per turn, which could get carried away pretty fast.
He can run away with it very early on if the Catachans don't move up that board.
So it's going to be important that he takes those knights off, especially if the knights go first. They have the movement to get on them as well.
Exactly, and they've got the firepower to get rid of screen.
Exactly. So as we were saying before, that's the primary, and it's worth 16 points, guys. Okay, so players are playing for 32 points across the mission, basically.
Yeah, essentially the entire mission will be worth.
Exactly. So the Eternal War is 16, so that's where most of the value is.
Yeah. Exactly.
Even if you draw that one, even if you win the Eternal War, you can draw the game.
Yes.
So it's very highly weighted. The second one is the Maelstrom of War. So we have cards.
So that's 12 points.
Yeah, and this one is called Tactical Cascade.
Yeah.
So this is the one where you choose 2 cards before the game.
Yeah.
You get these in turn 1, and if you score these, you get more cards.
Yeah.
Up to a maximum of 6 cards at a time.
Yeah. So you're most likely you'll be seeing the player going for the area denial.
Yeah, things like that.
Yeah, the simpler firepower, especially
stuff like that. Things that you can score really easily to get 4 cards in your second.
Exactly. Yeah. To start racking up those.
Exactly. And interestingly, if you have 3 cards, for every 3 cards you have left at the end of the game, you actually lose a victory point.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you have 6 left at the end and you haven't scored any, you lose 2 VP.
Yeah,
which could come in into play.
Yeah, it could, especially if you're scoring. Let's say if your turn 2 you score 4, you're drawing 10 cards.
So many cards. It's max 6 you can have, but it could still be pretty devastating.
Exactly. You could get some issues at the end of the game if you slow down.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the primary and the secondary. Then the tertiary, as always, guys, is first strike, which can happen for both players.
Yeah.
Slay the Warlord and obviously Linebreaker.
Yeah.
And Linebreaker could be an issue for the Catachans. They don't want to come out, do they?
Exactly. Yeah.
They just want to sit there and fire more.
Yeah. And then you've got the Knights really who can just place a Colexus in reserve.
Exactly.
And off he goes. Yeah.
And Assassins, I'm sure some of you have seen in the meta at the minute, Assassins are so prevalent.
Exactly.
So good. Yeah. So good.
I think this list is between the Castellan Siegebreakers and the Vindicers, I think it's characters are not going to have a good time.
It's going to be nice. So speaking of the list, we'll talk about the list in a second, but we'll just head over to the board and see the deploy, and then we'll talk about the Imperial Knight list first.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure, we'll head over now. Yeah. Okay, so as you can see, Dawn of War deployment, guys, across the lines. I'm not sure they've actually begun deploying just yet.
No, I don't think that's deploying.
Make sure you have the heads on. Okay, so they'll begin deploying shortly. That's fine. The objectives the Eternal War objectives are relatively hard to see. I can see straight away that we have one around this mark. As you can see, very inaccurate, but that'll do. One is in the center of the board here. And then we have one just tucked under here as well, guys, okay? So they're 3 Eternal War objectives, which are very important for this mission, as we already stated. The Maelstrom of War objectives are pre-placed. So we have objective 1.
Yeah, so you can see at the top right, you can see the Vindicator that's been placed on the rock. and that's the first drop that's being put down, and you can see that now the Catachan are placing on the bottom right. So I think that's his mortar team.
Yeah, mortar teams it looks like. Yeah. So in this mission it's actually alternate deployment.
Yeah.
So as you saw in the first mission we had alternate deployment. In the second mission we had whoever deploys first can go first. Or have the choice. Yeah. And we're back to alternate in this one.
Yeah, back to alternate.
It varies across all the chapter approved books to give a real variety of all the players, which is something that's great to see. So I'll just quickly get rid of these. Nick, would you like to tell us about the Imperial Knight list?
Yeah. So for the Imperial Knight list, we're starting out heavy with a Castellan.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice place to start.
Yeah. So he's starting out with obviously the 9 CP, but he's obviously got the -3 for the 2 extra wall traits.
Yep.
So he's gone for the 2 extra wall traits, and he's got the Castellan with a heirloom. Okay. Obviously going for Cool's Wrath.
Yep, that's nasty. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Really, really a lot of damage coming out of that plasma with the volcano cannon combined. He's gone for 1 Siegebreaker cannon. Okay. And he's gone for 4
the missiles.
Siegebreaker missiles.
Okay, that could be devastating against the Imperial Guard.
Yeah, because I think that you can see in this list as we go along that he's definitely targeting characters.
Yeah, absolutely.
In this list. Absolutely. So then we're gonna go on to a Crusader, also a character. Yeah. Heavy Stabber, and he's also got an heirloom Headman's Mark. Yeah, so we talked about this off camera.
Yeah, we were literally the double Avenger Gatling cannon.
Exactly, because he's gone for the double Avenger cannon, the Gatling cannon, and his wall trait is First Knight for the reroll ones.
So if he's tagging another knight this weekend, 4 damage.
Exactly.
24 shots of 4 damage.
Not to mention he's also got the Iron Storm missile pod on it as well.
Just 2 more damage if you fire in a knight. 1 more damage against these tank commanders, which we'll come on to shortly. But very good list for this matchup.
Yeah, definitely.
Very good list.
So here we go with then a Knight Warden as well.
Okay.
So then the Knight Warden, we've got the Iron Storm rocket pods. Okay. Reaper Chainsword, and then he's also got a Cunning Commander. Okay. Yeah, and an Avenging Gatling cannon.
So Cunning Commander is basically just a free command point, right?
Yeah.
So you pay a command point to get a Waller trait, but the Waller trait gives you a command point as well.
Essentially.
So it's a free Waller trait.
Exactly.
It's free real estate, isn't it?
Yeah. And not to mention it's a free character.
Exactly, yeah. So,
free character.
And as we pointed out before, there's 3 knight characters on this mission where characters have accumulated scoring.
Yeah.
So you can rack up some really nasty points.
For
really
Ascension, this must be the best one for knights. Arguably, because they obviously suffer in missions like for pillars.
Yeah, exactly.
But this one, I think, can benefit them quite a bit.
Exactly. There's swings and roundabouts to everything though. So imagine if we have characters less than 10 wounds on these objectives, you can actually target them.
Exactly.
Whereas with the knights, you can always target them. It's poses a little bit of a threat, but we all know how durable they are.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We saw that last time.
So then we've got a Vanguard detachment as well.
Okay, yeah.
So the Vanguard detachment, you've got the Collector's Assassin and 2 Vindicers.
Wow. Okay.
So that's what I mean by the 4 missiles and 2 Vindicers is absolute character snipe.
Yeah. So the reason why we have knights and assassins in this list, guys, it is a mono-faction event, but Imperium can get around that a little bit.
Yeah, Imperium can get around that a little. So you can use White Dwarf Assassins, the new ones that have been released, as well as 1 single super heavy auxiliary detachment with your Imperium army.
Which is why we see sometimes we have the Astra Militarum armies with a single knight, because you're allowed to do that, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
So N Haynes, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate that a lot. Yeah. Welcome to everyone in the chat. Look at that terrain. The terrain is amazing. This terrain is the standard across the SM boards, really, guys.
Yeah, essentially that's what we thrive on.
Exactly.
That's what we strive to
This is only one snapshot of the boards, but when you see Pardo present to us guys on the camera, you can see the rest, and the rest is just amazing.
Yeah.
It's really, really incredible. Yeah. How's the Gatling double Gatling? So if you just check over that quickly, Nick. I'm not sure if you can have double Gatling in an Imperial list, so if you want to find out for sure, look at the list for the knight and just make sure if you can see if it's double Gatling. Yeah. Okay, and I will just quickly talk to you about the Catachan list. Okay, so we have Matt here playing Catachans. Like we pointed out before, as you can see on the stream, snowy Catachans, a little bit interesting. We see a little bit more of the deployment here, guys. So we have 1 knight far left, 1 knight in the middle, and then the big Castellan, relatively central as well. It looks like the knight player is trying to spread out for all 3 objectives, which is definitely the play to go. The Catachans look like they're just spreading out across that line, nice and simple, giving themselves opportunities to take out both. So I'm just loading up the list here for the Catachan player. Interestingly, guys, if you want to see any of these lists throughout the entire weekend, you can head over to BCP and look at the Gibraltar GT, and you can find all the lists and any list you want to look at.
Yeah, so rechecking the list, there was a bit of a confusion there. You can see there's 2 Avenger Gatling cannons, but it's actually a thermal cannon.
Okay.
An Avenger Gatling cannon.
So there's a little bit of a mistake in how we wrote the list.
Exactly, yeah. So there's for some reason there's 2 Avenger Gatling cannons that are listed here, but it's a thermal cannon and Avenger Gatling.
Okay, so just to confirm for you guys, it's 1 rapid fire, 1 Avenger Gatling cannon and 1 thermal cannon. Ace race, wow, Eldar now Knights, my favourite armies. Yeah, Ace is not having a good time this weekend. Ace notoriously hates Eldar and he hates Knights. What do you want to see, Ace? Maybe if the Orcs start doing well, we can get the Orcs on.
Oh yeah, hopefully. Hopefully they're not doing too badly around the.
They're doing okay.
Yeah, you've got Aaron Mosquera. I believe that was on 2 wins. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. He got 32 in his first game and a little bit less the next game. But
exactly.
We might be able to see him on the stream later. Who knows? Okay, so now I can just quickly introduce you to, if I can find it, one moment here. Matt's list. So again, Matt is playing the Catachans this weekend, guys. He's actually in first place so far. So he's on 232 wins, but he's also killed the most amount of enemy models. So that's why he's at the top. And so, like we said before, this is literally the top table, the 2 best performing armies over the first 2 games. Yeah. So it's great to see that in an event like this. It really is.
I think that Imperial Guard as a monofaction is extremely strong.
They do really well.
Yeah, they do
extremely well, especially when you have the Vigilist detachments, like I'll touch on in a second, where these tank commanders get really nasty.
Exactly, because you get that relic battle cannon as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so the Catachan list, guys. We have a brigade detachment to begin with. As you can see, we already have 14 CP for the Imperial Guard player, or the Astra Militarum player, which is a lot. Yeah. That's a lot of command points. So we have 2 company commanders, chainsword and last pistol stock, and then we have a company commander with chainsword and last pistol, with old grudges, and the relic Karov's Aquila, and he's the warlord for the old grudges warlord. Yeah. Pretty standard, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's what you'd expect to see. And then we have 6 units of guardsmen with a sergeant with a last pistol, which is what you expect to see to fulfill the brigade detachment. Nothing really standing out there.
No surprises there.
We have a unit of Bullgryns.
Well, the other Astra Militarum player does have Bullgryns as well.
Yeah, Bullgryns seem to be all the rage.
Essentially, I think they're just very tanky.
Yeah, they are.
I think they do brilliantly in this meta. They can just tank those shots.
Yeah, they don't necessarily kill much, but you stick on an objective, they stay there for a long time.
Exactly.
A long time as well. So, alongside those elites to fill out the brigade, we have 2 astropaths. One with Psychic Barrier, one with Night Shroud. Yeah. What you'll probably see here is them cast onto some of the vehicles to make them stick on a little bit longer.
Most of the tank commanders probably just give them a bit more of that survivability.
It all adds up. So that's the elites done. In the fast attack, what do you expect? 3 Hellhounds. Yeah. Sometimes you see people take Sentinels in this bit. But we've got 3 Hellhounds here. All of them have the Hellhound Heavy Flamer and the turret-mounted Infernal Cannon, which could be really good. Maybe not against this matchup, but certainly for clearing hordes and stuff, they come into fruition.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see in the deployments, he's spreading them out nicely across the board.
Yeah, perfectly.
Because you can even if you spread them out nicely against the board, you can actually just shoot them up to capture objectives.
Exactly.
Because of that quick movement that they do have.
And what's commonly a problem for Hellhounds, and especially a Teamia pattern Hellhound from Forge World, when it explodes, it does a lot of damage.
Absolutely.
So you don't want them dying around any viable.
Yeah, they do explode on those 4-ups.
So occasionally you see them slingshot into enemies and just suicide on purpose.
Yeah,
because of the explosions. Yeah. Okay, so that's the fast attack sword. In the heavy support, we have 2 3-man mortar teams, which is pretty standard. Again, helping to clear their screens. What you will find with this Catachan list is it's pretty much an all-comers list.
Yeah.
So it can do everything.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what you need to do.
Yeah.
It has the psychic, it has the durability, it has the horde control.
And it's got the high toughness on the Lehman Russes.
Exactly, yeah. So the next things in the heavy support, guys, is a single Lehman Russ battle tank with a battle cannon and heavy bolter. Nice and simple.
Yep, simple, straightforward.
So that's the brigade, that's 12 command points.
Yeah.
And then we have the Supreme Command Detachment, okay? So we have, again, this is Catachan. They all have to be Catachan.
Yes.
That's the way it works.
Yes, they do.
So it's a single sub-faction. There's a possibility of taking Cadia, but this plays up to Catachan.
Yes.
It's really helpful with the Bullgryns. They are very good with Catachan.
Absolutely. And even the battle cannons when you're rerolling RNG dice.
It's really good.
It's brilliant.
The Guard are actually really good in this, man. I'm a really big fan of Guard.
Absolutely.
Especially in monofaction, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. In a monofaction scenario where you're not just having Loyal 32, where you can actually see the army work as a codex, it's brilliant. It's got a lot of synergy as a codex.
Absolutely. We have actually quite a lot of support from Matt in the chat. Freaky Flex says, bring it home, Matt, with a winky face. So we'll see what happens here, guys. And then, sorry, to confirm this Supreme Command Detachment, we have Tank Commander, Tank Commander, Tank Commander. And this is the Emperor's Fist, the Vigilist Detachment. So this can get very nasty very fast. Yes. All of them have the Plasma Cannon sponsons and the Battle Tank. And obviously one of them has the Relic Battle Tank.
Yeah, okay, so you can see on the deployment there now, I think both players have finished now.
Yeah, so it's all to play for, I think. I'm sure we'll find out very shortly from the table as who's going to get the +1 to see who goes first.
Exactly, yeah. So that's definitely going to be the Knights and the Assassins.
So the ball's in the Knight player's court. I mean, if you were the Knight player, would you want to go first?
It's a bit of a hard one, but I would say yes, because the thing is that if you get those Lehman Russes firing at you the first turn, you're gonna see degraded knights.
Yeah,
you're gonna see degraded knights.
Sure, and then you basically lose the turn of shooting, right?
Exactly, yeah. But if you get that Castellan firing turn 1, you can get rid of that relic battle cannon, which I believe does he have?
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
exactly.
The
yeah, exactly. You need to get rid of that exactly turn 1.
Yeah.
Because if not, he's gonna be pumping out too much firepower.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll find out, guys, but it's actually ridiculous how much firepower the Imperial Guard armies have.
Yes.
And then when you put a Castellan in there as well, it gets a little bit stupid.
Yeah,
absolutely. A little bit stupid.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult for the knight player to decide what he wants to kill, because obviously with rotate iron shield, it's a really powerful stratagem.
Yeah.
Especially on a Castellan, it makes it immovable already, free criminal.
Absolutely, yeah. When you've got the rotate iron shields on it, even with a 3 CP, it's still worth it.
It's crazy.
It's still worth it.
What you commonly see is stuff like Doom and Jinx now, how with that, but obviously that's not going to be
yeah, but that's not going to play into. It's not going to come into play here, thankfully, for the knight player.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah,
it's going to be. I'm really excited for this game. Are you excited?
I'm actually very excited to see it, but you know, at the end of the day, it's just going to depend on how the knight player rolls. You know,
absolutely,
if you start rolling low numbers on that volcano cannon, it's only one shot, and
that's the thing with knights. They're very swingy.
Exactly, yeah.
Very swingy. You can end up killing an army in one turn, or lose your whole army in one turn.
Exactly, yeah. It can go either way. It can go either way. But I think if anyone's got a chance here to just hit knights hard turn 1, it will be Imperial Guard.
Yeah,
I've seen it plenty of times.
So, Rogue Rags, just 3 knights. It is just 3 knights, but we also have 3 assassins.
Yeah.
So the 3 knights are all powerful knights as well. I think it's actually 2 Crusaders.
Yes.
And a Castellan.
Yeah.
And they're all crust, so that's really good.
That for you. So yeah, you've got a Knight Warden.
Okay, the Knight Warden.
And a Crusader, which the Crusader is the actual warlord, isn't it?
Okay, so we have 2 Avenger Gatling cannons, 1 Thermal cannon, and then a Castellan as well.
Yeah, and a Castellan as well. Yeah.
I will be careful for the Warden in combat as well, because there goes the handshake. It looks like we're ready to go. I wonder if Jay's going to elect to go first, so that's the knight player Jay. I'm sure we'll find out from the table very, very shortly.
Yeah.
If he does go first, we can see him getting off those objectives, and then it's an uphill battle for the Astra Militarum.
Yeah, definitely. Because if he does go first, you're just going to see, like you said, you're going to see him plonk on those objectives
and just stay there.
Yeah, exactly.
Kill me.
Yeah, and if he gets past turn 2, turn 3 with those objectives, he's just going to rack up those primary points.
Yeah, that's right.
It's going to be too difficult.
I think the Catachans will edge this game, but it will be close. Tuning into 40K, I totally agree. Not sure if the Catachans will edge it, but I think it will be an incredibly close game.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an incredible first game.
For sure. So we're actually going to cut over to Pardo and just introduce us to the rest of the battle round threes and see what's going on across the event, guys.
Hello, I'm live here. So I've got a small update, really. There's not much happening at the moment. People are just starting, so they're just beginning turn 1. Some people have finished turn 1, but hardly much action happening lately. So to start off, we've now done the first 2 games were actually a mix of tables, so anybody could land on any table, but that's from game 3, which is now, people are actually ranked by tables. So, and I'll mention the table. If they're in a higher table, it means they're doing quite well, and vice versa. If they're at the bottom tables, they're not doing very well, sadly. So I'm just going to start with a couple of the higher tables and see what's happening. So we've got Boris Mitchev versus Adrian Bonal from France. We've talked about Adrian Bonal's list already. He's got the 3 super heavies, so the 2 Bane Blades, Bane Hammers, and Macorius, I think it is. And then Boris is playing, obviously, Drukari. So 2 big players. They're on table 3 at the moment, so they have a lot of points in, and it's going to be a really, really good game. Boris was currently going first, and when I approached the table, Adrian went for the seize and actually seized. So there's a lot of siege dice going on, and he actually rolled an SN dice, so it was really cool to see. Next up on table 5, we have Josh Hall, who actually won his game on the live stream just this morning. For those of you who missed that, he's playing the Alaitok Elder, really, really nicely painted army. He's playing Ben Jones and his Drukari, so it's an Elder off. So currently Josh is going first. He's straight away gone for his Dizzy Ravagers. If he takes those out, I think he's got a really, really high advantage for this actual mission. And he's doing pretty well at the moment. I think he's dropped 1 already, so it's going well for Josh, and getting a win against Ben Jones's army, which is a really, really tough Drukari list, will put him on the top tables for game 4. Moving on to Chema. So we've spoken about Chema's list on the game before. Chema is playing a mix of Chaos Demons. He's actually Zinch and Nurgle at the moment. Really tough list. He normally plays Zinch, like I said. He's been playing it for 2 years, but he's actually mixed it up with Plague Bearers for this one. As everybody knows, you see them in the meta a lot. They're really tough to shift. They're really good to hold objectives. They can be really fast as well. So it's actually a really quite interesting list. I was talking about this list yesterday and actually during the week. I think we'll see him at the top tables, and hopefully we'll see him in the live stream as well soon. He's actually playing Imperial Knights again, so he played them in game 1 and got full points against Imperial Knights, so it's very impressive. He's got the Tzeentch Big Flamers, so people underestimate those. They are characters, so they can't be targeted. So he actually puts them into... No, you can't target them because you just use the little Brainstones and other units to screen them. And they're nasty, have got nasty shots. He's also re-rolling ones because he's got a Demon Prince nearby, and he's also re-rolling ones to wound because of his Warlord trait. So those Flamers are really tough. And they bring Knights down. Believe it or not, they bring Knights down. So it's very interesting, and let's see how that goes now. And that's table 7. On table 8, we've got Toby Lydiard and his Custodes. He's won 2 games, not on max points, but he's managed to get 20 points on one and 15 points on the other. So that's very interesting. He's playing one of the Hellstorm boys. So Dan Butcherin is playing. Dan was going actually first, and he's got a really tough list. A lot of shooting. He's got 3 Reapers, but failed to get first strike. He failed to get first strike. So that's interesting. Toby's now moving forward really aggressively. So interesting game to get back and update in a short while. Table 10, we've got Tristan Whitehead from Twisted Dice playing Joe Boscardini. So Joe was on the live stream last night. They've got a similar list, so a lot of Primaris in it, a lot of tanks in it, and Tristan actually seized on Joe as well. So we've got, I saw that live as well, so I've been lucky enough to see 2 seized dice, and again with an SN dice. So lucky dice here at our events. Table 14, we've got Michael Tungate and his Kraken Nids. He's playing Sean Morgan and his Thousand Sons. Sean has been really clever here, so he's playing on a Mechanicum board with a lot of high-raised buildings, and he's using that really well. So his Enlightened are on the top of the buildings. He's also got Magnus at the top of a building, so his Kraken and his Carnifexes and his Gene Stealers won't be able to assault because they're very high up. So that's an interesting matchup, and I'll update you on what Michael's plan is further along. Just this last update, so we have a really nice board, which is actually a prototype of what the new cable car that goes up the rock is going to look like. We actually built a model of how it looks like. Problem is that the main bit of the boards, the main bit of the cable car is very big and can only be played on the Dawn of War deployment. So they're actually playing it for the first time on the Dawn of War. We have Dark Angels versus Blood Angels on that board. I'll try and get some pictures uploaded onto the Facebook page. But yeah, it's looking really nice. They've actually deployed now, and they're going to start the game now. So that's my update for now. I'll get back to you in about 20 minutes, so hope you're enjoying the stream.
Welcome back to the commentary from Hellstorm Wargaming and SN Nick, the N in SN. So just to let you know, guys, we're live at the Gibraltar GT. We're live across your own Facebook page, our Twitch page, and our YouTube page. Yes. So far, we've had great coverage. People have been tuning in all over the place. We have people from America, Ohio, Russia, all over the places. It's been amazing.
You've got actually the US represented here.
Exactly, yeah. We've got so many people.
Canada,
the Canadian. People come all over the place to the Rock to play in this event.
Exactly.
It's the first of its kind, and it seems to be really well received so far.
Yeah.
People love the terrain, the environment's just great. There's no negativity whatsoever.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's what we aspire really at SN. It's may the hobby be the winner.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the whole point. That's the point.
To keep that spirit in a GT, I think it's absolutely
incredible. So what we have here going on, guys, is we have Knights versus Astra Militarum in game 3, top table.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's going to be a pretty tasty game.
So if you look at the board house going now, Matt actually managed to seize.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
Jay was going first, Knights were going first.
Another seize.
Catachan.
3 games, 2 seizes.
Yeah,
wow.
That's absolutely
Maybe
amazing.
It's a curse to be on stream.
I think so. Maybe it's just the boards and the cameras.
What we saw last time in the first game is the player who sees actually lost.
Yeah.
So we'll see if this is a different outcome.
Yeah, I think maybe with the Catachan actually seizing, maybe we'll see a Knight destroyed or even degraded.
Yeah, possibly.
That's definitely a possibility. So Matt, for his objectives, he's first gone for area denial. and supremacy.
Yeah, because you choose your first two.
Absolutely, yeah. In the tactical cast stage, you choose the first two, you score those, then you draw 2 cards.
Exactly, 2 per one you score.
Exactly.
So he's chosen those 2 because he thinks they're relatively easy to score.
Yep.
And they're going to be easy for him to get more cards. Basically.
Yep, because obviously as Astra Militarum, you've got that board coverage.
Exactly,
you can sit on those first 3
especially
objectives.
against knights.
Exactly.
Against other guys with loads of models, it gets a bit more difficult, but when the opponent has 6 models, it's a little bit easier.
Exactly, yeah.
A little bit easier.
So you've also got the front couple of units. First 4 units that he's advanced, he's also rolled 4 ones.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
So hopefully it doesn't move on to his shooting phase. If not,
so these units here, when they advance, 1 advance.
Yes.
So realistically, you want them sort of, oh, not there. So up sort of further forward, but you rolled a 1. So that's not going to be the case.
So it's just come through another 1 for his
Another
advance.
1. 5 ones to advance, guys. So this is what happens when you seize. You use all your luck to seize.
Exactly,
you roll 1 to advance.
Absolutely.
Hopefully that won't be game breaking, but we'll soon find out.
Yeah, I doubt it will. You know, he's still sitting on those first 3 objectives, so he's still going to get the maelstrom points.
And interestingly as well, for the Eternal War, the primary, you score at the end of your player turn.
Exactly.
So if he can get on those objectives, which would have been great with rolling 6 to advance, right?
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
if you can do that, you score a point.
Yeah, I think that's what he was hoping with the Hellhounds.
Yeah, you see the one on the left-hand side of the screen there, just where Matt's moved.
Yeah.
Towards sort of. I'm trying to navigate the right, but it's a little bit difficult.
You can see it just behind there on the left side.
Yeah, on the far left side, behind the ship. Yeah. There's a Hellhound that's just moved up there, presumably on an objective, or close by at least anyway. Okay, so for those who may have just joined, so thank you for everyone joining. The terrain looks stunning. Mr. Claro K-Sai says good luck to everybody. Rograk says, cut away from game, sees off camera, lies, it's scripted. It's not, I'm afraid. I appreciate that's very, very convenient timing, but it's not scripted. We've had 2 seasons so far, and Steve's got a habit of coming in at the wrong time. So Steve comes in at shooting phases, he comes in at psychic phases, pivotal points in the game. The camera's down all the time, we don't change that. So what we have there, I imagine we're still in the catch-up movement phase.
Yeah, so now that's the end of the movement phase.
That's the end of the movement phase.
Yeah, that's the end of the movement phase for the Astra Militarum.
Okay.
We've got on to the psychic phase, and you can see he's just placed the card on that Lehman Russ on the bottom of the screen there.
Yes.
And that's Night Shroud. That's the -1 to hit.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So one Lehman Russ is Night Shroud, presumably that's the commander with the relic?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes
presumably.
Sense. It makes sense. So the high priority target for the opponent is now -1 to hit.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. It's very scripted, but it's effective, right?
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, you know, you've got to use your strengths to your benefit.
Exactly.
And Night Shroud I believe is a must.
So what you can see here with these units here, you see these juicy tank commanders. He's almost screening them, stopping them from being charged by the knights, because that would be astronomically bad.
Yeah.
So these units here are kind of a buffer, so when the knights do get close to him and charge, he's still far away from the tank commanders, so they have an opportunity to kill them before they come and do any real damage.
Absolutely, yeah. And you've got the other psychic power that's gone off at the bottom, which is Psychic Barrier.
Okay.
Yeah, which I believe is that +1 save.
+1 to save, yeah.
Yeah.
So now you can see, that's the Night Shroud there, and that one's a Psychic Barrier. So 2 of those tank commanders are sitting pretty, really.
Yeah.
They're about to unload their salvo, and then we'll see what happens from there. So it looks like we're going into the shooting phase for the catch-on player.
Yep. And here we go with the move order now on the guardsman.
That makes sense.
Give them that extra move just to sit on those objectives and gain ground.
Exactly, like we explained with the Eternal War mission, you score at the end of your player turn.
Absolutely.
So if you can score all 3 and get 3 points, that's a good place to be.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then also because of that, the knights have to come forward to you and fight you in combat. And then hopefully you can draw them out of position and shoot them when you're in range.
Yeah, let's see, because he also needs to be thinking about that supremacy.
Absolutely, yeah.
And not move off completely off that objective.
Exactly. So, looks like it might be a good first turn for the Imperial Guard player.
Yeah, but hopefully he'll be able to now cover on that third objective there on the left of supremacy, because he needs to be sitting on 3 objectives.
This one here? Yeah, he needs to be able to grab that one. I mean, he's going to get objective number 5, which is this one here.
Yeah.
Objective number 6 in this vicinity. It looks like he's not quite near any of the others just yet, but like you said, he needs to get that supremacy.
He's going to get that supremacy.
So it's an interesting call.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Perhaps the mortars over there are within 3 inches, but it doesn't look like it will be. So we'll soon find out what the Astra Militarum player does here.
Yep, so we're seeing move order being employed again.
Onto the Eternal War objective.
And onto the Eternal War objective, which is what we expected. He needed to cover that ground.
Okay, so he's gonna have 2 there. That's gonna be good. A good place to start.
Absolutely.
So if you've just joined the stream, guys, and you're wondering why they're playing 3 missions at a time, it's the missions that you play at the SNGT. And it's the same at military, right?
Yeah.
So you take an Eternal War mission, that's the primary. You take a Maelstrom War mission, that's the secondary. Then you have the tertiaries in First Strike, Linebreaker, Slay the Warlord, put them all together, you have a mission.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just because we think that having all 3 in one, it just gives an aspect to the game where it improves a lot of tactical flexibility for your army.
Whereas something like the Heat Finals, when you play purely Eternal War,
absolutely,
and you score at the end of the game, the first sort of 4 rounds don't matter.
Exactly.
All you have to do is survive to the end and get it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it adds a lot more depth, a lot more layers, makes it very tactical, like you said.
Yeah. Not to mention that if you're actually out listed, that you can actually keep your list going through Maelstrom.
Exactly. So we're still in the shooting phase, guys. We're about to see what some of this opening salvo does.
Yeah, let's see, because now he spent 1 CP on the tank commander, so now to actually give that extra order of reroll 1s.
Okay, so this tank commander here.
Yeah, I believe it's that one or just the one to the left.
Right. Okay. Great stuff.
Apologies, one to the right.
Oh, one to the. Do you know your left and right?
Sometimes.
So this tank commander here. He's issued in Aurora's reroll 1s to hit, so we're going to have some opening salvo with rerolling 1s to hit, so it should be good.
Absolutely.
And obviously, like we said with the Catachans, if you roll poorly with the D6 shots from the cannons,
exactly.
reroll.
You can reroll that.
That's the crosscom. I'm the most narrative player here, thank you. Crystal creativity, I just role playing as an Orc Warlord.
Yeah, so here we go, the first salvo from the Leman Russes going into the Castellan.
Okay, into the Castellan.
Into the Castellan, yeah.
Has the Knight player decided to rotate Iron Shields yet? Or?
No, that's okay. I believe that he's holding out to see what the first salvo does.
Makes sense.
Maybe because he's only got those 6 CP.
Exactly.
Spend the first 3.
It's half your command points, right?
Yeah, so we've got 5 hits going down. So 2 wounds with a battle cannon. Okay, so he has rotated Iron Shields on the Castellan, and he's only taken one damage actually from the first salvo.
Okay. So it seems like that 3-point stratagem is paying off.
Yeah, definitely.
So it means the Knight player is unfortunately only down to 3 command points left. Yeah. So now you see the benefit of going first as the Imperial Guard player. You make him spend his command points really fast.
Absolutely.
And when he's burned through them, it's a lot easier to take the Knights down. And that's just the way it works.
Yeah.
It looks
essentially
like,
because
you go. It looks like the Imperial Guard player is getting more dice out. When you play Astra Militarum, you need a lot of dice.
Exactly, yeah. You do need a lot of dice. You've got the command points, and you've got everything you really want.
You have everything.
With guns. You got everything you want.
You have a catalogue of stratagems, and you have endless command points to use it.
Absolutely.
So some more salvo going here. Presumably it's going into the same Castellan. Or has he changed targets now the rotation shields come in?
So you've seen the Leman Russes actually overcharged his plasma and has taken a wound.
Oh god. Yeah. That's always the case. Yeah. Always the case.
But I believe that he might be still going to Castle. I'm not quite sure if he's actually swapped targets into another target.
Into the other
presumably you'd either swap targets now.
Yeah, so when they rotate, you just say, okay, I see you rotate, I raise you, changing targets now.
Exactly.
You spend 3 CP for no real reason, and I'll kill something else. That's the way it works. And there's plenty of firepower in this Astra Militarum list to definitely do that. So we'll see what happens. TJ Ray in the chat, nice Catachans, definitely rooting for those boys. Yeah, so a lot of love for the Catachans, not much love for the Knights.
Well, you do see Knights everywhere now.
Nobody likes Knights.
No one likes fighting Knights.
They're just plug and play. They're so effective. And any makeup seems to do really well. There's plenty of makeups across the tournament for sure. Crusaders are very popular. Obviously Castellan's very popular. Obviously within the LVO.
Yeah.
Even armies with 3 gallants are very effective and they're very cheap.
Yeah, especially the gallants. You just shoot them up the board if you go for the House Terran as well.
Exactly.
Just shoot them up the board.
There's so many good households and stuff so I believe you got an update from the table now.
Yeah, so we've got an update on the table. So that's the Leman Russ that was firing. It was on the same target. It was on the Castellan.
Okay.
It's dealt 5 wounds with the plasma, and he's actually dealt 3 wounds with his heavy bolters.
So 8 wounds off the Castellan.
Yeah, so it's already down to 19 wounds.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's amazing. Just 8 wounds from these first.
So you see the effectiveness of these Leman Russ battle tanks.
It's amazing, yeah.
Could be going really, really well. So if you were a betting man, Nick, where would you put your money on this game?
Sorry?
If you were a betting man, where would you put your money?
With the C's, I'd put it on the Catachan at the moment. It just depends how much damage you can do.
Just to be controversial, again, I'm going to go with the Knights. So let's see what happens. Pagan,
so
1, 2, 3. Thank you for the follow.
Yeah, so now you've got the Relic Battle Cannon going into the
This is the spicy one here.
Yeah, so he's got only 3 wounds through.
3 wounds, okay.
We're just seeing the saves, I believe.
Saves are coming, so it's a free up in as with the rotate.
It is at the moment. But here we go, he just took 6 wounds.
6 wounds?
Yeah,
so we're down to 13 wounds on the
It's down to 13.
Wow.
So it's just gone below
could be a
halfway
game.
point. It could be if that Castellan goes down.
Obviously with House Crash, you are a mechanical household, so you can use that stratagem to make your knight full power.
Absolutely,
which will almost have to be employed. And then you can't rotate next turn.
Yeah, that's more CP.
Yeah, it's tough. So this is where you see the struggle of pure knights, right?
Absolutely.
So normally you plug and play into Astra Militarum Brigade, you have all the command points, you use all the toys, but now we don't. We're seeing the downfall of that, really.
Yep, so you've just seen it take 2 more damage.
2 more damage?
Yep, from that universe.
Wow.
That's the heavy bolter. That's now taking it down to 10 wounds.
10 wounds remaining.
10 wounds remaining. That's
18,
only from the
18
opening
damage.
salvo. Yeah, that's 18 damage.
18 damage. Wow, this is going to be interesting.
It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be an uphill battle for Jake. Yeah, for sure. So how many of the Lemon Rusters have actually fired in total?
No, at the moment, no. So we've got the 2 Lemon Rusters, I believe, that first fired, and now we've got the 3rd one now. Okay,
so we have actually got 3 that have fired and 1 remaining. So danger zone for the Castellan.
It is. Danger zone. If this Lemon Rust can actually put through that damage.
We've had very little damage from the actual battle cannons, right? It's been the heavy bolters.
Yeah, it's been the heavy bolters, surprisingly.
It's been the heavy bolters. I think we've dealt 6 wounds in total from heavy bolters into a Castellan, which is crazy.
It is crazy.
There's no Doom, there's no Jinx, it's just free up invulns, wounding on 5s. It's crazy. Hot dice. Suddenly those ones to advance don't look too bad.
Don't look too bad. Especially now that you've seen the last Lemon Rust has done no damage.
Wow, okay.
No damage to that.
So that's the swing and roundabout, right? Sometimes you do so well, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
And that's why you take 3 for redundancy. So he actually has 3 tank commanders and 1 Lemon Rust, which is why you see 4 times there. Yeah. Which is a kind of way that Astra Militarum can get around the rule of 3, right?
Yeah.
Because if you wanted to, you could have 9 Lemon Rust battle tanks. You take a squadron of 3.
Exactly.
Which is a little bit obnoxious.
I would agree with that. It is a little bit obnoxious when everyone else is limited to 3.
Yeah,
and they can just simply take 9 Basilisk, 9
Basilisk, 9 Manscos, do whatever you want.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whatever you want. So TJ Ray, if the Castellan goes down in round 1 with mainly heavy bolters, that's some unlucky dice rolling on the saves. Yes, it is.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's also incredible dice rolling the other way around as well.
Yes, because you're looking at 5 streams.
Exactly.
And that -1 really not having an effect because you're 3 up and running.
Yes. Do I hear that right? Nick and Toby are commentators right now. That is right, Hell Henny.
That is.
It's nice to have Nick beside me, the N of SN.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's also nice to get the SN perspective on their own events.
Yeah,
it's nice to be inside and find out why you guys do certain things and what makes you want to keep doing the events.
Yeah, well, essentially, we started 5 years ago. Okay. And to think 5 years ago where we are now today, and they're just making the people here just making it easy for us.
Yeah, exactly.
They're making it easy for us because essentially you could go to each board and you could just see people having an amazing game.
Yeah.
Even if you're getting smashed, they're just enjoying it.
And what I think is the great thing about Gibraltar is everyone speaks English and Spanish.
Yeah.
You meet a lot of different cultures, but you have the same language, so there's no language barrier, and you can communicate with everyone really easily. It's a really great place to come. It's really easy to get to a certain extent. Not when you're landing in the wind, though. That's a bit difficult. When the planes are going all over the place coming down, it's a little bit difficult.
So we've just seen the mortars firing to the Vindica.
Okay.
And it's taken 1 wound, because obviously he's got that -1 to hit, and then -2 if he's in terrain.
So just the 1 wound dealt?
Yeah, just the 1 wound for the mortars.
So you guys in the chat, especially on Twitch and YouTube, where do you think this game's going to go? Type Catachan if you think the Catachans are going to win. Type Knights if you think the Knights are going to win. We have Hobo J saying go J. I think that's actually J himself. I think he's rooting for himself, or someone's on his Twitch account rooting for him.
Well, you've got Hellstorm also making way cooler than Mikey.
Sorry if the sound's a little bit off just while Steve's on the mic. Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to hear ourselves think. Yeah, I know you guys hear us talk. Very loud in the event hall today. That's Jake. Okay.
Yeah, so that's the end of the turn for the Catachan.
Okay.
We've got 2 points on the primary.
Yep.
For the Catachan and 1 point on the Maelstrom. Because I believe that what's happened there is exactly what we thought, where he did not sit on the supremacy.
Okay. So that might come back to bite him later on in the game.
Yeah.
And we didn't destroy a unit for the tertiary either, no first strike.
No first strike.
Okay. Okay, so this is commonly referred to as squeaky bum time now for the Imperial guard player.
I think he's gotten off that lately, to be fair.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse, huh? Especially, so what will happen now is he'll use command points, hopefully, to power of the machine spirit resurgence, back up to full effectiveness on the Castellan, and then it's back to the first round. Like nothing happened.
Yeah. So you can see Jay, he's gone for Titan Killer, which I believe is kill a vehicle or 3 vehicles and get extra points.
Wow.
And then you've also got overwhelming firepower.
Okay. So guns o'clock is what we're saying. Guns o'clock from the Knight player, guys.
Yeah, so it's Titan Killer, so you get a point every single time you kill a vehicle.
Wow. Wow. That could be good. Everyone knows how good Castellans are at shooting, especially Castellans. Especially with the Herman's Mark and the first Knight.
And so that you've got the heirlooms as well.
Exactly. So that Crusader rerolling wants to hit with the first Knight, and then the Herman's Mark is giving him +1 damage.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it can get a lot.
Yeah, I think that Knight's going to be looking into those Demon Russes.
For sure. And then we can
Hellhounds for the explosions, because you can see that it's quite close to his units.
Yeah. Could be tricky.
It could be.
We'll have to see how the Knights react. Yeah. What's great about Knights is that it doesn't take long to play the game because you only have 3 models, right? Yeah. So you can generally get through games fast. There's no discrepancies about slow play or anything at all. So we'll see what happens in the Knight shooting phase. I'm pretty excited to see what happens, at least anyway.
Yeah. So you've got the castle now. Jay's used the Machine Spirit Resurgence, so it acts as programs.
See, I thought as much. How many command points is Machine Spirit Resurgence?
I believe it's 1 command point.
Okay, so we're down to 2, but like we said before, that's no rotate actions now for the Castellan.
Even if it's 1 or 2, it's
exactly.
No more rotate.
So I'll just
maybe he's hoping that 1 turn is all he needs.
We'll soon find out.
Yeah. 1 turn of shooting really for Knights is sometimes all they really do need.
Yeah, exactly.
Cold's Wrath.
If you can do exactly, if you can do enough damage to some of these tanks, whereby they can't retaliate in the way they want to, you've done your job. Tick.
Yep.
I would be surprised if we don't see maybe 2 Lemon Russes popping this time.
Absolutely.
Maybe even more.
And maybe even the Vindicar and the Shieldbreaker Missile looking at the relics of the Kuros Aquila.
Yeah, taking out the Warlords.
Yeah. I think, like I said, the Knights got off lightly with that seize.
Yeah, I think honestly, for the Catachan player to do well this game, he had to kill at least 1 Knight in the
Absolutely.
100% kill at least 1 Knight.
I think essentially, again, when you're fighting Knights, it's what you need. You need to kill a Knight.
Exactly.
If not, they just snowball.
Especially when you have powers like Machine Spirit Resurgence and you're back to full HP, back to normal.
Yeah, just confirming he does have 2 CP.
Okay, cool. So it was 1 CP, you were perfectly right. You can see here the Imperial Knight player slightly having trouble navigating around the board with so much terrain. It becomes slightly difficult to move Knights. And you have to be very savvy about how you do it.
Absolutely. Well, when we set up the terrain, we take that into account.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to, because even though no one enjoys playing against Knights, you've got to
make it fair.
Yeah, exactly.
We actually have a guy here playing with 3 Baneblades, guys, which is amazing. 3 Baneblades.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So yeah, you can just see on the top left, they have to shuffle it about a bit because the objectives were just about terrain as well.
That makes sense. So it's currently 3-0. The primary has 2 points, and obviously secondaries he has 1 point, but no first strike, which can come back to bite someone.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, first strike's sometimes easier to get than Linebreaker, especially when you're looking at.
It definitely is. Yeah, for sure, because you don't want to move out so far.
Absolutely.
You want to stay sort of in an ice compact bubble and just fire as much as you can.
Absolutely.
You don't want to go across the board too soon, otherwise you get picked off too easily.
Absolutely. Or get near the Knights.
Exactly. And when the tertiary is worth 4 tournament points, and there's only 3 ways to score points for the tertiary, suddenly you can only maximise on 2 points.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's tough to win. It's really tough to win.
It is tough.
Although having said that, you'd imagine that Slayer Warlord would be easy, for the Catachan player to get. Because they are quite easy to target, whereas...
You'd think as much, but you know that toughness 8 does play in a lot.
It does, yeah.
That toughness
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And as you saw on the stream there, Mohawk Miniatures, the famous Mohawk from Mohawk Miniatures. You can see it again there.
Yeah.
Look at that Mohawk, guys.
It is perfect.
Oh, wow. Blown away. So if anyone wonders why it's got Mohawk Miniatures and thinks, maybe he has a Mohawk, now you've seen it. He has a beard as well to boot. What a hero.
So jumping to the chat, you've got Bubba J there just saying his orcs killed those Knights once.
A lot of support for the Knights now all of a sudden. That's huge for Jay, the fact they didn't kill the Knight in turn 1. And
absolutely.
I completely agree.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see how the turn actually goes for Knights. If he can actually just get that first strike in, he'll already be ahead on the tertiary by a long shot, really, because there's only 3 points you can get.
And you can see the Knights now, they're not quite edging towards the Eternal War objectives, as we can see on the screen. But they are moving forward in a way whereby they can start scoring the next turn.
Yeah, I think he's quite cautious.
Yeah, exactly.
The way he's moving forward.
Exactly. You have to be to a certain extent.
I think he's just more interested in drawing line of sight to those demon russes.
Exactly.
As you can see now, he's just pointing down.
Yeah, so it looks like we've finished in the movement phase. We're about to go into the shooting phase and see what really is in the locker of these Knights.
Absolutely, yeah.
We'll soon find out. So I'm just measuring some ranges here, guys.
Yeah.
It must be an absolute headache trying to work out what your Castellan wants to shoot. Because there is so many guns.
Yeah, there's so many juicy targets, and the fact of matter that one of the tank commanders will be +1 save, one's -1 to hit.
Yeah.
Which one do you go for?
Exactly. It's tough. It's really tough. Yeah. We'll see what happens there. He has to kill some Lemon Russ to make sure that he doesn't die in the retaliation next time.
Absolutely, yeah. He's got to easily kill at least 1 to 2 even.
Exactly. And if they whiff next turn, suddenly there's still 3 Knights alive.
Absolutely.
And it's an uphill battle for the Imperial Guard player.
Exactly, yeah. I think with the Siege they had definitely that opportunity to take that Knight down, but
you think maybe he didn't take the opportunity he was given?
Maybe not.
We'll see.
Maybe not.
We'll see. I like the fact all the games we've had so far have been so swingy. Like you think one player's going to run away with it, and then the other player comes back, and there's no, apart from maybe the previous game with the Eldar, there's no foregone conclusion. It's always right down to the wire. But all of a sudden in game 2, the Eldar player just completely took over and managed to beat the tower relatively convincingly towards the end. So it looks like Jay's preparing some dice. The Castellan's about to open up.
So here we go. So we've got the Castellan firing now. So we've got the Volcano Lance going into the second Demon Russ along the line. Okay. And the Cole's Wrath going into the third one. So I believe we've got the Volcano.
Maybe some small arms fire just going into the Astra Militarum.
Absolutely, yeah. That was 4 melter guns into the Astra Militarum.
Okay, because they're not in range of anything.
Exactly, yeah. It's the 12-inch range.
Was that 4 dead guardsmen, unfortunately? Yeah. So here comes the juicy guns, guys.
Yeah.
See what happens.
So there we go. I remember now we're going to see the Moonrose coming.
Exactly, yeah. So this is with Cole's Wrath, like we pointed out. Absolutely. So this is a very tasty plasma gun we've got going on here. I'm very excited to see how much damage this is going to do. We'll find out very shortly from the table.
Okay, so Siege Breaker and Shield Breaker, that's what we just saw there. And they did nothing because they both missed.
Wow.
So now just the Volcano has to go.
So hitting on 3, you'd expect a bit more reliability than that.
You would. So it's seeming like he's not going to be able to kill that that first one. But we'll see how the 2 shots from the Volcano lands.
Okay.
So 2 hits.
2 hits. 2 wounds.
2 wounds.
2 saves coming up. It's just straight through, right? Straight damage.
Yeah, definitely. 63 damage.
Here we go, counting the damage, guys.
Here we go.
Soon find out from the table just how much damage it is coming in. This looks like it could be very bad for the Lemon Russ.
It could be 9 damage.
9 damage in 1 single gun.
Yeah, 1 single gun just did 9 damage.
So that
2
is
shots.
4 wounds remaining on one of the Lemon Russ.
Yeah, I believe that's all.
We still have the Plasma Decimator as well.
Sorry?
We still have Cole's Wrath to go.
Absolutely, here we go. There's Cole's Wrath going into the next one with Night Shroud now.
Yeah.
But it is the -1 to hit, so maybe that we'll see that coming to
Interesting decision to target one with the -1 to hit. I guess that is the one with the relic though, like we explained before, so you want to make sure that relic's safe. And if
absolutely.
You can kill that for the Knight player, it's big.
But the issue is that he's overcharging, so he's overheating on 1s and 2s now as well.
Right, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so here we go, he's taking 2 wounds. It's actually from the
overcharging.
From the overcharge, yeah.
And that's not what you want on a Castellan that's already nearly dead.
Yeah, so now it's down to 8.
8 wounds remaining.
It's down to 8. Here we go with the wound roll.
And like we already pointed out, there's no rotate next turn because he's got no command points.
Exactly.
No command points.
I believe he's only got 2 left, so maybe rotate on one of the smaller Knights.
Yeah.
But that's not going to play into it because the next target focus is going to be the Castellan.
Exactly.
But you've got 6 damage on the Leman Russ from Cole's Wrath.
So he split fire with both the big guns.
And he did split fire with both guns.
That's a very interesting decision.
I think he expected to do more with the Volcano.
Yeah, for sure.
You expected to kill it.
You have to take a chance somewhere down the line.
Yeah, I mean statistically, if you're thinking about it, it is a -5 weapon.
Yeah,
it's a 3+.
On paper, you kill a tank.
Absolutely.
So on 63, he actually only rolled 9 damage.
Exactly.
Which is presumably a little bit below average. I imagine 12 damage is average.
Which is what you need to kill the Leman Russ.
So that would have been fine. So anything even slightly better than average would have killed Lemon Russ.
So here we go, the Avenging Gatling Cannon now being fired from the Crusader.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the one that's going to be +1 damage against his
Absolutely, because it's got the headman's mark.
And we're rerolling once to hit as well.
Absolutely.
From the first night Wallow trait. Okay, so some saves coming up here.
Yeah.
That might be this heavy stubble just going into these.
Yeah, that was just a small arms fire stubble going into the guard.
Looks like we got the 12 guns.
Yeah, here we go.
Going into the one with Night Shroud, I think, guys. So it's hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s.
Yeah, because it's 4 set, rerolling 1s.
Yeah. Looks like a decent amount of hits there, guys. 6 hits.
Yeah, there you go, 6 hits.
Wounding on 5s.
Yeah, wounding on 5s. But no wounds.
No wounds.
Wow, that's toughness 8 coming in for you.
Yeah, so 6 wounds, guys. Yeah. That was a potential 18 damage.
Yeah.
Is that 3 damage each?
Yeah, now here we go. The same one going into
this is the
one with
cannon.
Nitro.
So how many shots from the thermal cannon?
Oh, it doesn't hit at all.
Wow. So we actually are seeing a little bit of a whiff.
Wow.
Because these
are the 2 shots from the thermal cannon.
Okay,
that was
so
the
rolling 2. Okay.
Yeah. So 1 hit.
1 hit is -4, so I imagine it goes straight through. It's D6 damage.
Here we go.
Let's find out what it is.
7 wounds.
Okay.
Because he's rolled a 6 and gets that +1 damage.
Wow.
So that's 7 damage. So that's 1 Lemurus gun.
Okay, and that's first strike.
Yeah, that's first strike.
Now 147. Thank you very much for the subscription. I appreciate that a lot. Master Kamul again, thank you very much. Marley has just gifted subs to 5 people. You are amazing, Marley. Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot.
Thank you for watching.
So there goes first strike for the night player.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's going to be at least 1 point. I think he actually has a 1 with firepower as well.
Yeah, that's all.
And he has the Titan Killer.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of points coming in now, guys.
Yes, because he'll be drawing up 4 cards. I think maybe that's the intention of the Catachan player, not to draw too many cards at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's why he didn't draw up that Supremacy.
So we have, how many wounds remaining do we have on the Lemon Rust that's now being targeted?
So the one that's now being targeted, I believe, might be the one just
the one
on
that's
the
like you back?
Yeah. So
Six
it's got
remaining.
6 wounds remaining.
So, I mean, this is going to be an Avenger Gatling cannon, guys, so this can do the damage. It's 2 damage each. All he's got to do is get through, fail 3 saves, and bang.
Yeah, but it does have Psychic Barrier on.
It does.
That +1 save.
So it'll be ignoring the -1 from the Avenger Gatling cannon.
Okay, so apologies. This is the one with Nitro. The
Oh,
one that
okay.
got taken off was the one with Psychic Barrier.
Wow.
Yeah. So the one with the +1 save is the one that went down.
Wow.
So this is the one with Night Shroud with -1 to hit.
Hobo J just subscribed. Wow. Milha, okay, Marley, you're crazy, dude. You're crazy. Thank you very much for the subs, guys. Nicotac, welcome back. Thank you to everyone that's just tuned in. We're live at the Gibraltar GT. My name's Hellstorm Toby. I'm joined by N.
Over SN.
Yeah, so SN Battle Reports, they host the Gibraltar GT here, guys. We're live streaming across all 3 days. We streamed yesterday for the game on Friday. 1 more game after this game today, and then 2 tomorrow. And the final game on Sunday will be the top table, guys. So whoever wins that game will win the event potentially.
Essentially, yeah.
Very exciting.
So here we've got the Knight spitting his firepower, apart from the Avenging Gatling cannon. He's firing it into the Hellhounds as well.
Okay.
On the far left, which is just under the scenery on the left there.
Yeah.
And going into the Lemon Rust as well, I believe.
So this one here, yeah?
No, the one on the far left there.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So there's actually...
So, yeah, he's taken 6 wounds from just the first onslaught of fire.
Wow, okay. So it soon adds up, huh?
Yeah, definitely will.
So there's actually, you can't see this on the screen, guys,
Yeah,
but
so
there's
that's the
actually,
Iron Storm firing now with 5 hits.
that's the
Now
bottom of a
wound roll.
Hellhound that's just outside of your line of sight. You won't be able to see that very well on the stream.
Yeah,
If we
there's
could,
no wounds on that Iron Storm cannon.
Wow.
And the Iron Storm discipline.
wow. If I quickly nip to the top-down view, you may be able to see the Hellhound a little bit better.
Yeah,
So
you
it's
can
just
just
in
see
the
the
corner
tip
there.
of it just
Yeah,
popping
just in the corner. So we'll go back to the scores. I'll update the scores very soon, but it looks like the Knights could be scoring quite a lot of points this
Yeah,
turn.
as it stands, I believe they've got the full maelstrom.
Yeah.
They've scored both points. So every point, he's going to keep scoring points the more
you get more
vehicles he
cards,
kills.
yeah. Exactly.
And the more vehicles he kills as well with the tactical.
Amazing. So just to update you guys in the chat, Nicolai just joined, said what's going on. We actually have game 3 here at the Gibraltar GT, and this is Knights from Jay versus Catachans from Matt, and this is actually the top table. So both of these guys are on max points, position number 1 and 2 so far, and this is the middle of the road game 3, guys, okay? So whoever wins this, if it's a max win or maybe not, we'll still go on and be top going into game 4.
Absolutely.
So
we'll
it's
most likely
a lot to play for.
Yeah, we'll most likely see the same army.
Potentially.
Potentially, unless they all tie up in points.
Exactly. We want to make sure that we keep it fresh for you guys.
Absolutely.
But at this point now, after 3 games, 6 different armies, you may start seeing Drakari pop up a bit more and Crocodile, maybe even Knights, because they're all doing very well across the field.
Yeah. So the first Vindica's fired, I believe it's failed, and now the second Vindica's firing as well.
Well,
yeah. So we'll see how that goes, and hopefully it doesn't fail again. I believe that Vindicas are quite. I think that Vindicas are quite hit and miss.
Yeah.
I mean, he's targeted the Bullgrins because obviously the Bullgrins with slab shields, you've got that invulnerable, so.
And you don't take it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So the Bullgrins are actually just here, yeah?
Yeah, those are the Bullgrins there.
So ideally, if you're the Astra Militarum player, you want to get these Bullgrins up and around onto the objective.
You just take cover as well on the Bullgrins.
Okay. Wow.
But you've got the Crusader now trying to charge into the guards, just probably try and get onto that.
This charge here.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting decision. I think I would do the same, especially because they're all characters when they get on the objectives.
Absolutely.
So that's not getting the points.
Because they get that upside.
Yeah, so characters are actually super upside, basically.
Exactly.
So unless you have 2 characters, the character's always going to control the point.
Yeah, definitely.
It seems like we actually have an update from Stephen Pardo, our field reporter, sponsored by the Honest Wargamer. So we'll get over to that now and see what Steve's got to say.
Hello guys, and welcome to my second update. So I'm very, very tired, so maybe it's not as good an update as I should, but I'll promise you that I'll do my best on the next one. So everybody's really excited. You can see now it's a bit more competitive feel to it. People are much more serious, especially in the top tables. As you all know, it's the first Gibraltar Grand Tournament, so everybody is excited and everybody wants to win their first title. So it's very, very exciting. I hope you're all enjoying the live stream. I've been actually looking at it for a little while. It looks very interesting. As you can see, the knights are characters, so for this mission, it helps them a lot. I'm just going to go through a couple of the main games, I think, that have been really, really interesting. So going back to table 2, Darren Allen and his Gene Stealer cult against Luke Hewitt. They just finished turn 1. Darren Allen hasn't done a lot of damage, but Luke Hewitt in return has brought on down 2 of the vultures. So and the third one is actually quite wounded as well. So he's lost a lot of the extra shooting power, which helps him a lot. Following down to table 6, we've got Miguel Ferreira from France playing from Portugal, playing Angel Perez from Spain. Angel Perez getting first strike, and it looks a very, very interesting game there. Both very tactical players, a lot of movement on the table, both of them using enough of the table and scoring as many objectives as possible. I'm sure to update you on what's happening there, because it's looking like a very interesting game. And like I said, it's table 6, so they're really scoring and looking at scoring as many points as possible to carry on the top tables. Moving over to table 9, we've got David McKill and he's just got first strike. Martin Baker using the light hook. Martin actually opened his first turn. We're now on turn 2, and he forgot to use his 8 Dark Reapers. So he hit them so well that he forgot to use his 8 Dark Reapers. That's big. That's very, very big. So that's a big mistake from him. David McKill got first strike. Martin Baker didn't get first strike. I think David's a little dark horse here. I really like how his army is actually looking. I've been by his table on a couple of occasions, and it's looking very, very good. He's a very good player. He knows how to use his army very, very well. So I think he's a little dark horse here, and I'll see how that happens. Martin has a very, very strong light hook army, but he's failed to hit on turn 1. He needed to hit hard on turn 1. And now most of his the Custodes Dreadnoughts are in charge raids on turn 2. So it's looking very interesting, and hopefully David gets the win there. As you all know, it's Codex only for this event, so it's very, very cool that there's no souping up and stuff like that. The only thing we allow is knights to ally, 1 knight to ally as a auxiliary detachment with any of the Imperial armies. They do, and anyhow, we have restrictions, so they can't use any of the house traditions and stuff like that. Moving over to table 11, we've got Lee Dignam against Alvaro Mora. Lee went the opening turn, so Lee's playing Drakari, and Alvaro Mora from Spain is playing Imperial Knights only. Lee actually killed an armiger, so straight away, and has wounded one of his other knights, but hasn't done the impact that he wanted to do. Hopefully, when his Scourgers drop down, with his haywire, he'll have to bring another knight down as soon as possible. Everything is moving really, really slowly. The problem with this table is that they've got a table where there's 3 big ruins in the middle, so the knights can't actually go into the ruins. So what Lee's doing is he's making the most of this. Put his troops inside. He's getting a better armor save. He's actually hiding quite well from the shooting. So it's looking very interesting for Lee. But let's see how Alvaro Mora's second turn goes for his shooting phase. Yeah, and like I said, just about that, you can see the amount of pressure that Lee's applying onto Alvaro's knights with his venoms and stuff. He's getting a lot of board control straight away. Moving over to table 12, so just the table beside, we've got Lyle Torok and his Sigis Adeptus Mechanicus. He's playing Luis Tirado from Spain and his Necron. So Luis is the only player playing Necron, so it's very interesting as well to see how that's going. And he's doing quite well. He's on the 12th table out of nearly 40 tables, so he's doing quite well. Problem for Lyle is his deployment was really, really bad. He actually moved some of his breaches forward using the Sigis rule, and Luis has managed to get his 2 massive big units of Wraiths into combat on turn 1. So he used one of the Wraiths to get into combat. We're using the stratagem to advance and being able to charge after, and then he just moved and charged with his other ones into the breaches who have scouted forwards using the Sigis rule. So that's a very, very good start for Luis. Lyle's a great player, so we'll see how he returns back that. We've got Tom Mika on table 24, the only Grey Knights player as well, so it's very interesting to see how the Grey Knights, I know there's a lot of big fans. I know that Lawrence Baker loves his Grey Knights, so hopefully he's watching and he's rooting for the Grey Knights like I am. And I know Nick, that's doing the live stream, loves his Grey Knights as well. Hopefully they get a better codex next, because they really suffer in the competitive scene. So let's see how that's going. It's a brutal game. He's playing Matt Trickett and his World Eaters. So as you can imagine, both armies are really, really into close combat. So they're already in combat. There's a lot of flashing of axes, swords, a lot of blood everywhere. And it's looking really, really good as a spectator as well. And basically, I'll get an update with that, but it's looking really, really brutal. Moving over to table 23, we've got Javi Martinez and Ruben, both from Spain. Javi Martinez with some beautiful, beautiful Tau. He's had to castle up. Ruben's army is very hard hitting. I actually played Ruben a couple of weeks ago in another event, and his Space Wolves hit hard. He's got a knight in it. He's got a Raptor gunship, and he's got some Sicarians as well. So it hits very, very hard. Javi's castled up, so Ruben is making the most of it. He's getting a lot of board control. He's applying pressure on the points that he needs to, and it's looking very good for Ruben. And lastly, we've got Aaron Mosquera and his Orc, so one of the Gibraltar club players. He's on table 4, so he's doing very, very well, and he's actually the best ranked player at the moment for Gibraltar. He's playing Clemente Berrios. He's actually from America, but he's actually deployed in Portugal, in a camp in Portugal, and he's come over. He's driven down 6 hours down to Gibraltar to play for the weekend. He's playing Astra Militarum allied with the Knights, and Aaron Mosquera is playing Speed Freak, so he's playing Evil Sons, and it's looking very good. Aaron Mosquera it got opening turn, advanced forward, applied a lot of pressure with his boys, whilst now it's going into Clemente's turn 1, and he's moving very aggressively as well. He's moved his Bullgrins up towards a big blob of boys. His knight has just rushed forward and trying to advance another blob of boys. So it's looking very, very enjoyable there as well. And I'm sure to get another update on that game, because it's looking very, very good. Hopefully that's my update for now. I'll be back in about 20 minutes to 30 minutes. Hope you're enjoying that, and I'll get back to you soon.
To the Hellstorm Wargaming SN Battle Reports collaboration coverage of the Gibraltar GT. We're on the top table here, guys. We have Matt playing Astra Militarum Catachans, and we have Jay playing Imperial Knights. During that little break there with Steve, we had some information from the table. So Nick, do you want to go through some of that with us?
Yeah, so at the end of the Imperial Knight turn, we were seeing the Imperial Knight Crusader was about to charge, as well as the Paladin on the far left side, both failing the charge. So actually the score system there, it ended up with 0 points on primary for the knights.
Wow, okay.
But managing to secure the 2 points on the actual secondary because he managed to get the Titan Killer and overwhelming firepower with the first strike as well. So it's 2 on the Maelstrom, 1 on the tertiary, and then you've got the now into the movement phase of the Catachan, which you've got another 1 on the advance.
No way.
Another 1 on advance for the Catachan, but you've got them moving through now. You've got the objectives as well for the Catachan. They managed to draw up still got Supremacy.
Okay, that should be okay.
Yeah, he's got Master of the Warp as well and Secure Objective 2.
Okay.
So Objective 2 though is on the knight side.
Yeah, that's right. So
you can just see it on the far side there.
Objective 2, guys, is actually this one here. So this is Objective 2.
Absolutely.
It's going to be very unlikely for the Imperial Guard to secure that one this turn. Interesting stuff going on. Very aggressive movement from the Astra Militarum player. You see the Hellhounds moving up. In fact, you see one blocking the movement here, which is a great play. On top of that, this one here blocking the movement. This one here is also kind of blocking movement, and this one here is also blocking movement. So what he's trying to do with these Hellhounds is just stop the guard from moving, stop the Knights rather from moving forward onto the primary objectives.
Absolutely, but then you've got to take into account that Hellhound on the right there might be a bit too close for that heroic intervention.
This one here?
Yeah, forgetting that it is a character at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So maybe the Imperial Knights player picks up on that at the end of the charge phase and who knows?
Spins round and
swings
gets the
round
objective.
into a heroic intervention.
Wow.
Yeah. So you've also got 2 CP spent by the guard player at the end of the Imperial Knight's turn.
Sure. So it's down to
for the Imperial guard that got the small arms fire on the right side.
Okay.
Just to automatically pass them around.
Sure.
So he's down to 9 CP.
Okay.
And now in his psychic phase, you can see a psychic barrier cast on one of the Bulgrin units.
Okay, that makes sense.
The Bulgrin units. And then you've got Night Shroud casted on the Lehman Russ, just trying to keep that Lehman Russ in life.
Okay. So it's a similar kind of strategy to the first time, whereby you see the psychic power going onto the big tasty units to support them and make sure they last a little bit longer.
And you want those Bulgrins alive. At the end of the day, they can sit there. I think they can sit there with the Knights and just duke it out for a while.
So it's interesting because the way that you would theoretically think these Bulgrins will play is you would rush onto the objective and stay there. But he's still sitting behind with them, and it's interesting to see what he's going to do.
Yeah. So you've just seen the first shooting from the
Okay,
Hellhound,
so we're in the
and
Astra
he's actually got
Militarum
2 6s, 12
Wow.
hits into the Night Warden,
Okay.
and he's caused 2 wounds.
Wow, okay.
Caused 2 wounds.
So the Night Warden, this knight over here, is taking 2 wounds from the Hellhound fire.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. So we're getting
So
damage
now
across the whole
we're seeing
board
the heavy bolter coming through.
here. Okay. Looks like he takes another wound from the heavy bolter. Interesting stuff. So even the small arms fire, which you wouldn't expect to do much damage, is working well against these knights.
Absolutely, it's actually dealt another wound, the heavy bolter, so it's down to 20 wounds.
And Hobo J says that's a lot of guard left, and it is a lot of guard left.
Absolutely.
There's not that many anti-infantry guns across the knights to get rid of the guys. You've got to remember as well that the Astra Militarum player has 60 guardsmen, he has 6 Bulgrin, and a splattering of tanks, so there's a lot of models on the board. 10 times the amount of models of the knight player.
Yep, so you've got the next Hellhound firing in.
Okay.
11 shots,
Wow.
6 and a 5.
Wow, these are the kind of things that you need to win games like this. You need to look to have stuff like that.
Yeah, a bit of luck, dice god smiling down.
Yeah,
on
for
you.
sure. I wonder what the chances are of rolling 23 dice across 46. Well, 23 across 46.
It's almost max shots.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's 3 6s and a 5.
Crazy. Man, so you see these Hellhounds really doing work. I wonder if they're going to take any more wounds off the Night Warden here.
Well, there you go. It's taken another 3 wounds from that.
Wow.
From that Hellhound.
So we're actually minus 6 wounds now.
Yeah, so down to 17. Actually, down to 17. So it's minus 7 wounds.
So the Warden's 17 wounds remaining now, guys. So you see all of the Knights taking damage across the board. The Crusaders down a little bit. Obviously, the Gallant is incredibly wounded, and now we have the Warden wounded as well.
Yeah.
Crazy. Sorry, I don't mean Gallant, I mean Castellan.
So the Castellan's down to 8 wounds.
Wow, okay.
The Warden's down to 17, and the Crusader's actually not taking any damage yet.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So the Central Knight here has still got 24 wounds.
Absolutely. The one just beside, the
Exactly.
number 24.
This one. He was here originally, but he's moved over to here.
Yeah.
So that one. Interesting game.
Yeah.
Anyone's game still. Anyone's game still.
Yeah.
I like the games when turn 1 is like so much can happen, but very little does, and then it all blows up in like turn 2 and 3.
Well, you can see the Catachan tactic here. He's trying to screen out the Knights as long as possible. Take those primary points as best as he can. Maybe kill 1 or 2 Knights before turn 3, turn 4.
Yeah.
And hopefully he'll be ahead on primary enough that that'll play into it at the end of the game.
Exactly. So someone in the chat has actually mentioned that when the Castellan goes down, he thinks the Knight player is in trouble. Possibly so, although there is still a lot of punch in the Warden and the Crusader as well, so it's very hard to call.
Yep, so you've got the Relic Battle Cannon now firing into Castellan.
Okay, so he wants that Castellan then?
Absolutely. Well, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, you can't rotate anymore, but you can still use Machine Spirit Resurgence, so if you don't kill him, it's full wounds next turn.
Exactly, he's going to be firing you with
so you have to kill him. Like you said, you don't have a choice. I wonder if he's going to have what it takes, though. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, so you've just seen the rolls going on there. That was a fail to wound.
From a Lemon Rust battle tank?
Yeah, from the Lemon Rust battle tank.
The tank commander, wow, okay.
Yeah, the tank commander. So we're seeing, I believe, what is the battle cannon now coming through.
This is the second Lemon Rust now firing at the Castellan. Oh, this is interesting stuff.
Interesting, I don't know if what to say.
If he doesn't kill that Castellan, he's in very, very big trouble.
Yeah, so this is the plasmas that are coming through from the from the tank commander, and he's actually taking a wound because he's overcharging. So he's actually taking a wound from.
Everyone's taking damage from their own plasma.
Yeah.
We'd have thought that Cole's Wrath would be made with such skill that you don't take damage from the overcharging. But hey ho.
It's only remaining now 5 wounds.
Wow, the Castellan?
No, the Lemon Rust because of that overcharge.
Okay.
So next Demon Rust on to the right hand side.
This one here?
Yep. That was firing into the Castellan as well.
Okay.
So it's incredible to see that Relic Battle Cannon and the Plasmas have done no damage.
Wow, okay.
No damage to that Castellan.
That's crazy actually. You'd expect something like that to do way more damage.
Yep, but now we're going to see 11 shots coming from that Battle Cannon.
That's the power of the Catachan. I actually don't know what they're called. Chapter Tactic, I guess.
Yeah.
Where you can reroll random dice when you're rolling shots.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is incredible. So 11 shots from the battle cannon is crazy. Crazy.
And now here you go with the wound roll.
Obviously, these are potential to do D3 damage each.
Each one, yeah, absolutely.
So we've got some saves coming in here. It's like one fail, D3 damage coming in.
Yeah, one goes through, 1 D3 damage, and that's 3 damage. So he is down to 5 wounds.
5 wounds remaining on the Castellan, guys. We have some more guns to come. Let's see what this next salvo does. We have some plasma cannons coming in here.
Yeah, I believe these are the plasma cannons now firing through.
It looks like they may have failed to wound.
4 shots from an overcharged plasma.
Oh, okay.
Takes a wound again.
These are all martyrs, guys. Everyone's taking wounds.
Okay, yeah. Apologies. He would have taken a wound, but he does get to reroll once because of that CP.
Looks like another failed save as well.
Yeah, down to 3 wounds because overcharge does damage.
3 wounds remaining. So it's
so close yet so far.
Yeah, it's very important that this Imperial Guard player does kill that Knight, because like we said, Machine Spirit Resurgence back to 28 wounds basically.
Yeah, back to 28, back to his full bracket. Yeah, and here we go, we're seeing the final Lemon Rust into the Castellan. I think it's a bit of desperation now.
Well, he's got to kill it, we've made that very clear. If he doesn't kill it, he's in trouble.
I agree. So we've got 5 hits going down.
Okay.
4 wounds.
This is the battle cannon.
Yeah, that's a good wound roll.
Okay, we'll see some saves coming in now. It looks like a couple of fails.
2 go through.
2 fails. 2d3 damage, guys. 3 wounds remaining.
Yeah. 4 wounds.
4 damage.
Yeah.
And bang goes the Castellan. That's big.
So we're going to see if it blows up here. We're going to see that roll.
So Nick McDade, that was the final Lemon Rust battle tank firing into the Castellan. 3 wounds left, 4 damage.
Yeah, and it goes bang.
It goes bang?
It goes bang.
Is there anything in range?
Yeah, he's only rolled 1-6.
Okay.
So do 6 inches for the explosion.
So 6-inch explosion, maybe just gets these guards. Okay, we're measuring them now, see what it gets.
And we're measuring up those 5
That's the
inches.
assassin there as well, guys. So it could hit the assassin. I think it's D6 wounds when it explodes as well.
It is.
So it could be a dead assassin here.
It could be.
And we're just measuring
those
to see what else
guardsmen
is.
also.
The guardsman also, okay.
Yeah, eclipse the assassin and the guardsman.
So the assassin circled and the guardsman with the arrow are going to get hit by the explosion from this Castellan, guys. This is the wound roll. Let's see how much damage he does. A 6 will kill the assassin.
Takes 2 wounds.
Just 2.
You can see Mohawk was happy about that roll.
Yeah. But the guardsmen are swept away by the explosion.
Yeah, but
so that
the guardsman took 4.
It leaves a gap here for potentially the Crusader to get in next turn.
Which we were talking about, that heroic intervention.
Exactly.
So this is a potential now for that knight to score.
It's all popping off, as it were.
Yeah.
He's going to be rattled now. So Hobo Jay's actually a friend of Jay's and thinks that will have affected Jay. Freaky Flex, I agree that is huge. It's an uphill battle now for the Knight player for sure.
Yeah, I think that it's huge that night going down. The Imperial Guard definitely needed that.
Yeah, for sure. And it makes it more difficult for the Guard player, not the Guard player, the Knight player to retaliate and kill some of these Guard tanks.
Yeah. So we've got the small arms fire now coming in from the Guardsmen, firing into the Knight. You never know.
Yeah, sure. There's plenty of guns across these Guardsmen, you may as well shoot them.
Absolutely.
There's nothing else to shoot.
Exactly, nothing else to shoot.
It's interesting that the Astra Militarum player didn't try and make a bit more of a gamble to get this point. Obviously, the 4 Guardsmen he had here only died to the explosion from the Castellum, but I would have maybe doubled up just to secure that point and make sure it's secure.
So we've just seen the small arms fire going into the Knight, and it's actually done 1 damage.
Wow, into the Knight Warden or the Knight Crusader?
Yeah.
The Crusader, okay.
But just 1 damage.
So the Guardsman shot the Crusader, 1 damage. 1 damage.
1 damage.
Okay, so what do you think the objective for the Knight player will be next turn? What's he got to do to win this game?
Well, I think he's definitely got to still focus fire on those Lehman Russes, and I think maybe even charging into those Hellhounds.
He's got to get chopping, though.
Absolutely, he's got to get kicking away.
So the Quest Household Tradition, guys, actually lets you reroll all failed hits when you charge, decharge, or heroically intervene.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, the Stompy Feet, they get very vicious and very fast.
You're talking 12 attacks.
Exactly, rolling all failed hits.
Knight.
You're going to be strength 8 with them, so you're going to run off freeze against most things. D3 damage.
Yeah.
It soon adds up, especially with the Reaper Chainsaw on the Warden over there.
Yeah, so you've got the mortar teams now. It's all the small arms fire coming through, but the mortars are actually not doing anything.
So this is a pretty typical tactic that you see from a lot of players. That is not where I'm supposed to be drawing that. Okay, that's not working. But you see the mortar teams in the bottom corners here, guys. That's the general tactic you'll see from most Astra Militarum players. You just keep the mortars nice and safe, just keep them chipping away, and they just pop targets left, right, and centre. Really, it's D6 shots, a strength 4 per guy, so you can end up having quite a few shots coming your way. Like Owo just says, weight of dice, pew pew pew. Matt needs to just keep his cool. Matt's game plan is working, as far as I'm aware.
Okay, so it seems Matt spotted the heroic intervention, and he's just opted to charge.
Okay,
he's opted to charge it because at the end of the day, you're going to take that Overwatch, but who knows? You might roll lucky, get a few 6s through.
Exactly. And even if this Hellhound dies in combat, it might even explode.
Yeah, and not just that, but you stop him from moving.
Exactly.
You stop him from moving onto a primary, which is detrimental.
He needs to make sure when he makes the charge, he does it in a way whereby the Knight player can't really easily just pile in onto the objective. So this is the charge we're talking about, guys. The Astra Militarum player has to make sure that he charges this way, so he doesn't leave the Knight a gap to just pile in that way. So he has to make sure that the Knight doesn't get onto this objective, because then the Knight will start scoring. And like we mentioned before, this is a character. Cumulative, there you go, see, perfect. Yeah. That's what you'd expect. It gives him no opportunity to pile in onto the objective and keeps the objective safe.
Yeah,
control of the Astra
Militarum. And not even taking any damage on the way in from the...
Exactly.
From the Overwatch as
all
well.
the Overwatch missed.
Yeah, from the Overwatch.
That's important as well. And if he actually goes base to base, it makes it even more difficult for the Imperial Knight player to be able to pivot all the way around.
Yeah, absolutely. From the big sizes of the bases, you're not going to be able to see him actually get all the way.
Exactly. So what the Astra Militarum player Matt did, which was really clever to avoid, if he didn't do this, the Knight could heroically intervene, spin all the way around like this, get onto the objective and start scoring that objective. But by charging in this way, dodging the Overwatch is huge as well, very helpful.
Absolutely.
And now he just has to survive some stomps, and hopefully he'll be okay.
Absolutely, but I believe that now Matt's going to be thinking about actually charging in with his Bullgrims as well.
I would do that, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. You can tell it's a bit of a big charge, but if he makes that, he's going to be locking that Knight down.
For a long time.
Yeah.
Psychic Barrier as well. They're not going to be easy to shift. No. So the Bullgrims here are just trying to make this charge. Let's see if they make it. It looks like we had a command point reroll possibly there as well. I don't think they made the charge. Oh,
okay. So they didn't charge in the end, and those were the attacks from the Hellhounds.
Okay.
The Hellhounds. So he actually opted not to charge in on the Bullgrims.
Okay. Interesting decision. I think he should just go for it anyway.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's nothing to lose. There's no rewards. He's already in combat.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the Knight can just move over infantry, can't he?
True.
So essentially, you're not really going to be stopping him.
Exactly.
Yeah. So here we go with 11 fire-up saves on the Hellhounds. We're going to see how much damage comes through.
Oh no, this is not going to be good.
This is where I can get brutal.
Dan Brook, welcome to the chat. 1986. I didn't realize you were that old. I'm only joking.
So he's going to be taking 5 D3 damage from 11 saves.
Okay. Here we go. It's like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 maybe. Does it explode?
Yeah, that's perfect 12 wounds. Perfect 12 wounds. Yeah, but it does blow up.
It does
because
blow
it
up.
only needs that 4+.
Yep.
Yep.
So let's see what's going to explode. So currently we have the Hellhound on your screen circle now, guys, has just been destroyed by the Knight in combat. Interestingly now, the Knight can consolidate, and I'm sure the Knight will consolidate onto the objective. So it seems like the Gambit hasn't paid off for the Astra Militarum player here, guys.
Yeah, so it's 1 wound on the Collectus, which is just in front of the Crusader, I believe.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So we can't see that on our screens, but there is a Collectus in there.
And it's gone now. Yeah.
Okay, so now obviously the Knight is 97 in combat, he can consolidate, and 3 inches will potentially put him in range of the objective, guys. So that might have not paid off.
Yeah, maybe not.
We'll see what happens.
But he did stop that heroic intervention.
Hello there, Yoruchi. Thank you very much for the follow.
Getting a lot of subscribers today.
It's
a lot
good.
of viewers.
It's good. We're so thankful for all the support. For those who have just joined, we're currently live at the Gibraltar Grand Tournament. We're live with Nick from SN Battle Reports and myself, Hellstorm Toby. We'll be streaming across the entire weekend, so we have 3 more games to come after this game, guys. This is the top table as well. We'll be bringing you games from the top tables across the entire weekend. We'll try and mix up the armies where possible, but eventually there'll be a point where you see replicated armies because they're the ones doing the best.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the first 6 games we've actually had 6 unique armies, which is great.
Yeah.
Gives people a flavour of what's around, but now you'll see the big hitters that you'd expect. So the Eldari Craft Lords, the Drukhari, the Imperial Knights doing well.
Absolutely.
And you'll see them towards the top table.
Especially when you're looking at monocodex.
Exactly. Exactly.
So at the end of that Imperial Guard turn, we've got 2 points in the primary because they are sitting on the 2 objectives just off to the left.
Yep.
And Master of the Warp.
Wow. Okay.
So another point for their Hellstorm.
Yeah. So great stuff for the Astra Militarum player.
Slowly the Astra Militarum just racking up the points, just trying to keep the Knights at bay.
The primary score is important. I've hammered this home throughout the entire weekend, but if you win that primary, the worst you can do is draw.
Exactly.
And now it's 4 points to 0 in the primary, so it's looking good for the Astra Militarum player,
Yeah, it's
realistically.
definitely looking good for us.
And then one Maelstrom point for Master of the Warp from the Astra Panther. So far, so good. So it's 4-2-0 against 0-2-1. And now we're going into the Imperial Knight turn 2. So data there for you, back round 2, guys.
Okay, so we're going on to the Knights turn 2. We're seeing the 4 objectives coming through. That's secure 1.
Okay.
We've got Supremacy. Behind enemy lines.
A little bit tougher at night to get Supremacy.
Definitely.
Behind enemy lines as well.
Behind enemy lines and psychological warfare. That's definitely
that's doable.
Capable.
For sure,
it's doable. But I think you've got to do it to a few. You've got to scatter those shots on the infantry because if not, you're just going to spend 2 CP.
You don't want to shoot a whole night at the 1 unit as well.
No, and not just that, but if you just do it on 1.
Yeah, like you said.
You just have 2 CP.
They just stay there. So thank you for the follow, Freaky Flex. I appreciate that. Welcome to everyone who's just joined us in the chat. Good afternoon, Blood Asp. Hope everyone is doing well on this fine Saturday afternoon. The weather is probably better in the UK than it is in Gibraltar right now.
At the moment, yeah, surprisingly enough, it's usually the opposite.
Yeah, it's normally when you come here, it's sunny, you wear shorts, maybe even flip-flops, but now it's windy as hell, and it's probably going to rain today.
Yeah, most likely.
So, yeah.
Well, the last time we came to No Retreat 5, I believe it was raining all
No Retreat 7 it was, all night.
Yeah.
Literally all day, just rained.
Constantly.
And I didn't know how to turn my hot water in the retreat either. So I was freezing cold and I had a freezing cold shower, so that didn't help. So in the night movement phase.
Yeah, so we're just going into the movement phase now, yeah.
I think the Knights have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I think they also need to be considering how many objectives they want to capture.
Yeah.
How many objectives they want to do, because the secure objective 1 is just sat beside the Warden. So you could easily sit either the Vindicar, which is at the top of the rock, or the Crusader on it. Or the Warden, apologies, on it.
Okay, so
but the problem is that every objective you score is 2 points.
Exactly.
It's 2 cards you draw.
get 2 more
but
cards.
at the end of the game,
if you have, for every 3 you have, minus 1
victory point. When you're not scoring that many medals,
you could just see them all go.
Exactly, you could just see all your points going down the drain.
So we're actually going to just quickly tune into Stephen Pardo with an update from the rest of the tables.
Okay, guys, so this is not an update, so don't worry, I'm still getting notes from here and there from different games going on. It's looking very interesting, but I'm just going to update you on some of the prizes for this Gibraltar GT. So we've got the overall prize, which is first, second, and third, obviously. So the champion for first, second, and third, winning a really nice crystal trophy. He gets a ticket to the next event. If you win it, you get Siege Studios have sponsored some of the Optimus new brushes for the first, second, and third. He also gets a GameMat.eu, so thanks to them, he gets a match ship to any location that he wants. So there's awesome prizes as well, Element Games, vouchers from Elegant Games, which is really cool. We've also got the Players Play Award, so how our event actually works is that for some of you that have gone to the Warhammer events heats, you actually get scored extra points for best army awards and best game votes. So we really love the idea of that. I think it makes the standard of armies goes up a bit more. Again, back to SN, we love that kind of stuff. So, and I think people should get recognized for having nicely painted armies, or armies that look uniform or look nice on the table. So at the end of game 6, all the players have 2 votes to give to best player, best army award. So they got 2 points to get to every army that they either like because it's uniform, or they like how it looks, or they like the list. They have 2 votes for that, and then they've got player's player. So any game they've actually liked, or any player that they've enjoyed playing with, they actually get the 2 points. So the final scorings isn't actually final scorings. They can change quite a lot. So if you times 6 games, well, no, there's actually 6 games by 2. That's an extra 12 points they can get, which can change stuff quite a lot. So that's very interesting. So we've got a best player's player award as well. So that's awarded to the player that gets the most votes from the players. He also gets a really, really good bundle of prizes as well. And then we've got the best army award. So that's voted by the SN team. And as well, he gets invited back to our next GT for free. Really nice crystal trophy. Again, he gets vouchers and stuff like that. And again, he gets a game mat.eu mat shipped to his location as well. So thanks to the sponsors, of course. Without them, we couldn't get all these awesome prizes. So again, thank you, Element Games, GameMat.eu, and Siege Studios for all that. I just want to announce, so what we've done is there's a list of 14 armies which we think should be mentioned, have an honorable mention at least. From those 14, it will be cut down to 6 by the SM team overnight. So we'll all sit down and decide who the nominated armies for the Best Army Awards nominations are. And then from that, we'll decide on the winner after Game 6. So I just want to give a couple of shout-outs to people. Maybe you know them, maybe that you have family, maybe they're from your club, who actually have been nominated for the first 14, which will be then cut down to 6. So congratulations to all these players. So we've got Josh Hall and his Craft Worlds, Darren Allen and his Gene Stealer Cult, Chema Triguero and his Demons, Joe Moscardini and his Blood Angels, Kieran Slade and his Yenden, Javi Martinez and his Tau, Matty Morgan and his Orcs, Mike Raza and his Night Lords, Phil Lewis and his Mars Adeptus Mechanicus, Manolo Leon and his beautiful Space Wolves, Felipe Bernard and his Imperial Knights, really, really nice Imperial Knights, Ricky Lowe and his Thousand Sons, Tristan Whitehead and his Space Wolves, and Matt Trigay and his Imperial Guard. So congratulations to all his... Thank you, Sean. Thank you very much. So congratulations to those nominated. Like I said, that will be cut down to 6. Armies will be on parade for people to see, but they won't be able to vote. That will be voted by the SN team. So that's my update for now. I'll keep you updated with how the players are going and how the games are going in about 20 minutes. So thanks for tuning in.
So guys, welcome back to the stream, partnered by Hellstorm Wargaming and SM Battle Reports.
Yep,
Thank you very much for tuning in. We're currently in the night shooting phase. We have Matt here playing Astra Militarum Catachans, and we have Jay playing Housecrossed Imperial Knights. This is the top table of the Gibraltar GT. Do you want to fill us in with some information that went on while Pardo was presenting for us there?
Yeah, so here we go. We've got the Vindicar that moved down onto Objective 3.
Okay.
We've got the Crusaders moved back onto Objective number 2. And you've got the Warden that's just moved slightly over into Objective number 1. That's obviously to secure his Maelstrom supremacy.
Okay.
Just trying to rack up those points.
Yeah,
at least keep up.
Importantly, stay competitive in the Maelstrom for sure.
Okay, so we're seeing the shooting phase.
Okay.
And we've got the actual Crusader that's fired the thermal cannon. Didn't manage to do anything to the Russ. And then the Avenger Gatling cannon, which I believe has managed to kill him.
Yeah, so we shot into here. Previously we had a Lemon Russ here. Yeah. It's now gone.
And it's now gone.
It's gone. So that's the power of the Headsman's Mark Avenger Gatling cannon, guys.
Absolutely.
3 damage.
It's 3 damage.
Exactly.
Each shot that goes through.
Exactly. All we need is 4 to go through and bam.
Yeah, so here we go, the Vindicar now shooting into the Warlord.
Okay.
Yeah, a big shot. Takes 2 wounds so far, so he has hit and wounded.
Yeah.
That's D3 damage. And now it's got a headshot.
Okay. This is interesting.
Takes a 4th wound.
Wow.
And that's Slay the Warlords.
Slay the Warlord.
Warlords with headshot.
Wow.
And that's the power of the Vindicator.
That's why you take 3.
Yeah, that's the power of the Vindicator.
There's 2 in this list, but assassins are just so good in the meta right now. It's the perfect complement for a knight army as well.
Yeah, I think it's because they just fill in those gaps. You know, character killer, you've only got those siege breakers.
Exactly.
So if you run out of CP, you can't really use that. You can't rotate, but the Vindicator just fills in that gap, as well as the Collectors.
Exactly.
It's a weak spot for knights. You know, the sacred powers.
So that's going to net Jay now with the 2nd tertiary point. So it's almost looking inevitable that Jay will win the tertiary objectives.
Yeah. At the moment, I don't think that unless they get, say, the Warlord and Linebreaker, the best thing that the card can hope for is a draw.
Exactly. So welcome to everyone if you just joined us in the chat.
Okay, so we're seeing the Warden now firing, and it's firing everything into the Hellstorm.
The one in front of it here?
Yeah, I believe it's the one on the far left, if I'm not mistaken.
And that one is firing the Avenger Gatling cannon into this hellhound here, folks.
So we'll get confirmation from the table soon, just to see which one exactly the firing is going into, or which one gets picked up, and we'll know.
Yeah, knights tend to do that, right? They tend to destroy vehicles. It looks like
so there you go. It was the one on the far left.
So we got it right. That's another tank gone. All of a sudden, 2 tanks down, and the Imperial Knights look like they're in their commander position again.
Absolutely.
Swinging game, very swinging game.
It is a swinging game.
And the Crusader is pretty much still on full health. It's only lost 1 wound, the Knight Crusader.
Yep.
And the Knight Crusader with Headsman's Mark and the first Knight can shift a lot of damage.
Absolutely, they can.
Millhouse, well, Marley, you are completely right. The quality of painting here is amazing. It's like a mini no retreat. Well, not a mini, a massive no retreat.
Yeah.
And that's what's great about this place. I don't know what it is about SM Battle Pass, but you attract players that love the hobby.
Absolutely.
That's what's really important. And the painting level is just astronomical. It's crazy. Literally crazy.
Yeah, it's funny how the painting level of armies are also at a high standard when it was just random ticket sales.
Exactly.
I think it's just like you said, it just attracts the good tables attract good armies.
Exactly. When you paint your army beautifully, you want to be at a beautiful table, and that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to play the game.
Exactly. So guys, we are live here at the Gibraltar Grand Tournament. I'm Hellstorm Toby. I'm joined with SM Battle Report's Nick.
Yep.
We'll be live across today. We have 1 more game today, and then 2 more games tomorrow, and we'll be streaming the top table in Game 6 to decide who wins the event.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a very high-profile game. It's going to be exciting.
I think it's going to be.
What armies do you think you'll see in the final?
Definitely Drukhari.
You think?
I think definitely Drukhari.
Okay. I think Drukhari is probably a safe bet, and I think maybe Crapoldella.
Yeah, well, we just saw Josh play.
Yeah, exactly.
Last game, he's played Tau twice, beat Tau twice.
It looks like he's actually playing Drukhari now. I can just see over there on table 2.
So we'll see how that goes with
him. For sure.
He's got very tough matchups in this tournament.
Exactly. He's Tau twice, Drukhari now, but to be the best, you got to be the best.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
I agree with that.
So what happens? So we're still in the shooting phase with the Knight playing now. It looks like we're taking off Astra Militarum left, right, and centre. Definitely thinning the numbers. Interestingly, that Jay decided not to opt for the Eternal War. He decided to go for the Maelstrom of War, which is actually an interesting choice.
Yeah, I think it's the easier choice right now to go for the Maelstrom than the primary. The primary is just there's 2 targets saturated, I think.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Although, having said that, if the Knight Crusader wants to make a play and go into this objective, it's got 23 rooms. There's only 2 Lemon battle tanks left now. This one here and this one here, and he has command points to rotate the Iron Shields. So he could have had a 4-up invuln on this Knight Crusader and just tank the shots for as long as possible and started accumulating Eternal War points.
Yeah, so we're going to be jumping onto the charge phase here. We've got the Warden charging into the Guardsmen that are just in front.
Jersey DBL 13, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate that. You guys are what keeps the stream going. We do this for you. It's nice to see that you guys are enjoying it as well. It means a lot.
Absolutely.
Charlie Sim, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Hobo J, I actually go to paint. Still got a load to do for Hellstorm Wargaming next week, so you'll be at our event. That'll be great. 64 players.
Definitely excited for that.
We have some high-profile players going there as well, so that'll be a very interesting event. It's actually ITC, so it's slightly different to what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Here we have SN's own format, similar to ETC. We play a primary mission, which is the Eternal War, the secondary mission, which is Maelstrom of War, and then we have the tertiary mission, which is First Strike, Linebreaker, and Slay the War.
Absolutely.
And all of them add up for 32 tournament points, split across 2 players. So if you win all 3 missions, you get 32 points. You can split them 16-16, or you can win at various different levels.
Yeah, we're playing for 32
full house. Yeah. Exactly, a full house. And we know about that in the casino, right?
Absolutely.
So if you guys ever come to Gibraltar, there's many a casino, and many a night out has been had in those
Absolutely.
I tend not to talk about that in case we get in trouble, but Okay, so it looks like the knight maybe made this charge. Did he make the charge?
Yeah, he made his charge with a double 6, but could only move 1 inch.
Wow. Okay.
But could only move 1 inch.
What a waste of box cards.
Yeah, at the end of the day, he needs to be holding that objective.
Oh, okay. So we measured here. So as you can see, guys, the where's the cursor? Okay. So the Knight Warden here, he rolled a box cards charge, but he wanted to stay on this Maelstrom of War objective. So instead of box carrying all the way around, he literally just moved an inch.
Yeah. So now we've got the Colexus there on the right side.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's actually just tried to charge into the Bullgryns,
This
obviously
Colexus.
lock them down because you can only hit him on 6s.
Yeah.
Yeah, but rolling a double 1.
Wow.
So it seems that the Knight Flare J is either rolling double 6s or double 1s.
Again, it could have been an idea to put the Colexus on this point because you only hit him on 6s.
I agree.
As a character.
I agree.
So,
So
questionable.
what do you think? It's a mistake from J there?
I think it potentially is. I think if I was Jay in Jay's shoes, I would put hard things to kill on objectives to start racking up the points.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't kill, all of a sudden the Colexus is there, he has to shoot that. And that might be shots not going into the knight. Because at the minute he's making it very easy for the Imperial Guard Astra Militarum player. Exactly. Yeah. All he has to do is shoot the big profile targets because nobody's scoring a ton of war points. And like we mentioned so many times on the stream, a ton of war is what wins you the game.
Absolutely.
If you win the Eternal of War, you can do nothing but draw, and you can win at best. You can't lose if you win the Eternal War.
Can't lose.
And it's 4-0, and we only have, this is battle round 2 still, so we literally only have 3 more turns.
Yeah,
So
the one thing he had to do was just move it over slightly.
Yeah,
but
literally.
maybe he's keeping it there for the 18-inch bubble for the -2 cast.
possibly, that's a good point.
Yeah.
But as we've already seen, the knights can punch through those buffs if they need to. Most of it was done by the Castellan that since fell, but it's important to know that headsman's mark is no real joke, and the first knight helps it a lot. So we have some more updates from the table. Looks like the Imperial Knight's turn is over. As you can see, he did kill all of the guardsmen over there in that combat.
Yeah, but he's I don't believe he has actually killed them. You can see them there. They're still.
Is this the same? It's the same unit?
I believe it's the same unit.
Wow,
Because
okay.
he's actually used the CP for D3 morale instead.
Oh, okay.
Yes. That's
Wow.
very clever. Instead of spending the 2 CP to make them also pass, he's actually spent the 1 just to use a D3
Instead of D6. So instead of losing the whole unit or 6 models, you lose the maximum.
Exactly.
It's good. Okay, so we'll just get an update from the table shortly about how many points Jay scored during this turn. Okay. So what's the scores on those?
Yeah, so we've got 3 for the actual Maelstrom.
Okay.
He's secured objective 1 and supremacy,
Okay.
which is D3 points, but in our format is just flat
It's
2.
just flat 2, yeah. So
Yeah.
any card that says score D3 points is flat 2, and any card that says score D6 points is flat 4.
Absolutely.
Makes it nice and simple.
Yeah, and obviously he's gone for the 2 for the
Tertiary, yeah.
tertiary.
So Slay the Warlord and First Strike.
Absolutely.
So we're still looking out for that line breaker in battle round 5 or 6 or 7, depending on when the game finishes. But Jay's in a commanding spot for the tertiary.
Yep.
Remains to be seen what happens with the Eternal War. Very one-sided in that regard, and the secondaries and Maelstrom are very close. So we're actually going into battle round 3 now, guys, with the Catachans playing. The snowy Catachans, which I still think is a little bit weird.
It's something you don't really see yet.
No,
It's
for
all jungle terrain, really.
For sure. Okay, so
But who knows? Maybe they've just been sent off to a death world somewhere.
so battle round 3, guys. For those of you who voted for a certain army at some point, which army do you think is going to win now? Where's everybody?
Well, you can say Jay that's blaming his Hellstorm wargaming dice for letting him down.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not a thing. Please subscribe. I think Jay should win just because of the Mohawk, honestly. I think the Mohawk deserves a victory.
Arguable.
It's so nice when he goes over the camera and you see the Mohawk. It's a sight to behold.
So like you were saying, I think Matt might actually have the primary at this because he's just going to score another 2, maybe even 3 points.
Yeah, exactly. He will literally run away with it.
Yeah.
And I would be concerned if I was the knight player, realistically.
Yeah. But maybe Jay knows something we don't.
Maybe he does.
Who knows?
I mean, he's on top table at game 3. Maybe he knows something we don't know. They always seem to roll. The Hellstorm dice always seem to roll well against my orcs. You should try saying roll well 3 times fast because I bet you can't do it. Roll well, roll well, roll well. Okay, never mind, I did it. It was hard to say the first time though. Have a pride. There's some luscious locks on display at this event. Everyone that's leant over the table has great hair, especially Jay. He's smiling at us from the table, guys. it's nice to see everyone's enjoying it. There's a lot of stress that can be attached to playing on the live stream, but the players are taking it in their stride and really doing well, so that's good to see.
Yep, so here we go with the movement phase for the Astra Militarum, where you can see objectives drawn for them is he's still got supremacy.
Okay.
Yeah, which you can see now. I think he might be thinking about getting it now.
Yep.
I think that's where his movements is going. Defend objective number 2, which is on the other side again.
Okay.
And
that's
overkill.
the one where the Crusader is, right?
Yep, and he's got overkill, which is see a vehicle kill unit. So he's got the 2 Lehman Russes and a Hellhound. They basically need to kill something.
Okay. So you might even see a Hellhound running over to Assassin and trying to burn it to bits.
Maybe.
Just to get that maelstrom point. But we'll see what happens. I think the placement of the Hellhounds is still good. I think in the next turn we will almost definitely see this Hellhound die when the Imperial Knights can strike back. Yeah. Because they just fall over in combat. We've seen that before.
Absolutely. So would you be thinking about moving that behind the Crusader and trying to kill a Vindicator?
Possibly, yeah. Just suicide it, because like we explained before, it explodes on 4+.
Absolutely.
It can do some damage with the Flamer, and then we'll go from there. Because even if it doesn't do much to the Vindicator, he's still going to have to kill it. Otherwise, it just does it again next turn. Yeah. So it's almost like a distraction. Well, it hopefully keeps the Lemon Rust a little bit safer for a little bit longer. It remains to be seen. This down here is very interesting, as you can see.
He's moved those Bullgryns up.
Yeah, the Bullgryns have moved up. So here's the Collectus, and the Bullgryns are here. So there's going to be a fight here. As long as the Collectus is within 3 of the objective, which it doesn't look like he is, he will have super objective secured essentially and get that point off the Bullgryn.
Yeah.
So it's important when
I don't believe that he is within 3 because he didn't secure.
He's not within 3, and what you will probably see is when the Bullgryn charge, they will come around and wrap him, so he cannot pile in this way.
Absolutely.
So it will prevent the assassin from being able to score that point. Great play on display really from everyone.
Yeah, so psychic barrier going off on the Bullgryns.
As you see, so suddenly the slab shields get incredibly hard to shift. We have a 1-up save now basically on most of those
1-up and 3-up invulnerable.
Exactly. So even a weapon at -1 AP, 2-up save.
Yeah.
It gets a little much.
Yeah,
it
does get a bit much.
Especially now when you think about it, it's only really the thermal cannon left available that has high AP.
Yeah.
And the Bullgryns have 3-up invul anyway.
Yeah.
So they're going to be hard to shift, especially. He should have got them on a point sooner. This is what we'll see. We'll soon see them get on a point. We'll see the enemy possibly try and shift them off the point and have a lot of difficulty trying to do so.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
It's really good to see Astra Militarum played well, and played well mono faction as well. It's good to see.
Yeah, so we're seeing Night Shroud again cast on one of the Lehman Russes. He's had to spend a CP for a reroll for it.
Okay.
So he's down
6.
1 more CP, yeah.
6. Down to 5 actually. Okay, so
5 CP because he spent a command point last turn for the tank commander reroll 1s for the vehicle.
That is right, yeah, of course. I still think it's anybody's game. I think one swingy turn from any player could give it, but it's hard to ignore the elephant in the room in the primary mission.
Absolutely.
Really.
To be honest, those knights are still pretty fresh.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, we've got a 17 warden, and then we've got a 23 wounds.
It's only 1 wound off like Crusader, so. Although he
still very fresh,
did well to kill the Castellan.
We do have 2 Lehman Russes down.
Oh,
those being the relic.
It's tough.
It's very.
So in turn 1 you said the Catachans will sweep it, and now are you changing your mind, or you still think the Catachans will have it? It's tough.
So we're seeing the heavy bolters from the first Lehman Russ going into the Colexus.
Okay.
And then he's going to split fire his battle cannon into the warden.
Interesting listening to shoot the Colexus. I'd have thought he'd just wrap it with the Bullgryns and be done with it. Perhaps he can't reach anything else.
I think maybe he just wants to kill it.
Okay.
Get it out.
Yeah.
Get it out there.
Fine.
I would agree with that.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So 5 shots on the battle cannon.
Okay. And where are these going?
These are going into the warden, which is on the far
The
left.
Night Warden, okay. Let's see what happens. So some of these Lemon Russ are actually damaged, so they may be shooting at a lower bracket as well, which is something to consider.
So 2 hits and 2 wounds.
Okay, 2 saves coming up.
2 saves coming up. Save them both with a double 5.
All good. So only 1 more battle cannon left to fire, and it could be running out of guns for the Astra Militarum player.
Yeah, I think Jay is actually now thanking his Hellstorm.
How the dice gods are fickle, huh?
Yeah, so here we go with 6 plasma shots, getting max shots on these plasmas.
Okay.
I wonder if he's actually opted to overcharge.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
So there we go, he's not taking any damage from the overcharge.
That's good. Good to know. So it looks like only 1 wound goes through.
Yeah.
Damage taken on the Crusader.
So down to 19.
Okay. So we've seen a little bit of smattering of damage on both of the knights now, which is good to see for the Astra Militarum at least.
Yeah. Heavy bolters missed.
Okay.
Small arms fine.
Yeah. Small arms fire, sure.
Which was expected since it was.
So I think the reason why the Lemon Rust was possibly targeting the collections is to get that overkill Maelstrom card.
Absolutely.
So take him out and get a point onto the Maelstrom, which is very hotly contested. Obviously, 2 points to 3. It's anybody's game in that regard.
Yeah, that absolutely is anybody's game. Yeah, so here we go. The Crusaders on 19 and the Wardens still on 17.
Okay, so like you said, fresh knights really.
Yeah.
We still have 2 command points for the knight players.
Still on
so
the top brackets.
we can resurge any of them. We can rotate when they get a little bit lower. There's plenty of options left available.
Absolutely.
Looks like we're just deliberating some more shots here.
So here we go with the next battle, Lehman Russ. So putting the battle cannon into the Crusader.
Okay.
And heavy bolters into the Plexus again.
Okay.
So I wonder just what I believe they're just checking cover now. And they're calling over Julian to officiate.
So the reason why we don't tend to give mics to the players is because have you ever been in a game before where something's not gone your way and you've said an expletive word or something like that and you've sworn out of character or something like that? It's just not. It's too much pressure to put on the players basically. We already have a lot of pressure with 2 big lights on them, cameras on them. It's just an extra step to mic them up and see what they're thinking really. It kind of deviates away from playing the game, and instead of being flies on the wall watching them play, we end up just being too intrusive, and it tends to change people's minds about what they do.
Yep, so we've got the official ruling in from Julian.
Okay.
That knight is in cover.
Okay.
As it's in the is in the crater.
Yep.
And it's actually obscured.
50% obscured.
More than 50% obscured from the building in front of it.
So it's good to
go.
go.
It's actually been given +1 cover, so it's on a 2 up save.
It's important.
Yeah.
That'll help a lot. Might prevent the need to rotate iron shields.
Okay, so he's taken 2 wounds from the battle cannon.
Okay, it's a good start.
Yeah. He's actually had to use a CP reroll, I believe.
The Astra Militarum player?
Yeah, I believe that he's had to use CP reroll to actually wound on one of the dice.
Okay, so that's a
he's down
CP.
1 more CP.
We're both running low on CP now.
Yeah, heavy bolter went into the collectors again, missing.
Okay.
Because you're obviously looking at those 6s. Yeah. You're looking at those 6s.
You can only hit on 6s, so it's a difficult one, really is.
Absolutely, I would agree with that. Would you argue that wasn't the best choice? Would you have put the small arms fire into the next scene as it did so much damage?
Well, in turn 1 and 2 we saw
the heavy bolters actually
between the 2 turns, maybe 7 or 8 wounds across the knights.
Yeah.
It all helps. It all helps to strip them back a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't much rely on my Bullwinds. I mean, you're not going to score the Maelstrom card, but you just rely on the Bullwinds to kill it in combat.
Absolutely. I'll just wrap it up with you and to be 3 inches.
And then you just leave it.
You can actually see that the Bullwinds are, I believe, now 3 inches.
Exactly. You charge, you wrap it, it can't move, you stay there forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then that's not a problem. You just ignore that Collectus forever.
I agree.
And it also helps you score points around the table. That Collectus can't move. You're not going to kill it because you're going to be hitting on 6s. And then you just run around the border, pick up the points.
Yeah, I agree.
It's perfect, really.
Yeah, so we've got the guardsmen, some small arms fire going into the warden now.
Okay.
Just like we were saying before, just small arms fire, losing a wound here and there. It all adds up in the end.
Okay. The Wargaming Dad, afternoon chaps, welcome to the stream. For those of you who just joined, we're live at the Gibraltar Grand Tournament. And we're here with SM Battle Reports and Hellstorm Wargaming commentate these games for you. This is the top table in Game 3. We're in Battle Round 3. It's the Astra Militarum turn, the Catachan turn, who actually sees the objective, the initiative rather. So the Knights were set up to go first, the Catachan sees the initiative, and then they unloaded their salvo. And since the beginning of the game, it's kind of swung each way.
It really has.
Yeah.
But I think that in the battle of attrition that we're going to be seeing in this game, Knights I think win that.
You think?
Yeah.
Oh, Spice, that's a hot take.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if anyone that's played Knights before, you know that if you're going into turn 4, turn 5, and there's still 2 Knights relatively fresh on the board,
it's the psychological burden is big as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Psychologically,
and then you start whiffing and you think, oh god, no.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all it takes is one of those Knights to get into combat with this flank. I mean, when the Hellhound, if this Hellhound is destroyed by this Warden, the Warden has free reign to come over here and really start making a mess around these units over here. And it could be very bad news for the Astra Militarum player.
Okay, so we've just seen the mortars shooting at the Vindicar on the right. it's actually dealt no damage to the Vindica.
Wow.
But
okay.
then the mortars on the left firing at the warden and actually dealt a wound.
Okay.
So I believe that the warden's now down to 16 wounds.
So we're still chipping away?
Yeah, chipping away with a small arms fire. At the end of the day, that's the way it works. Okay, so that's my mistake. The actual Hellhound also fired into it. It's actually down to 13 wounds.
Down to 13 on the warden?
13. Yeah, on the warden. So he's actually managing to bring those knights down.
He's nearly bracketed.
He's nearly bracketing.
So when he goes to 11, he's down to his second bracket.
Exactly.
Which puts him on BS4, which is actually huge.
Yeah, so here we go. Like we predicted, the Bulgarians now charging into the Alexis.
Okay. So we see the charge, hopefully with a big number. What you will see here, guys, is you will see the Astra Militarum player really wrapping the way all the way around this. And that's what you'd expect to see. I'm sure we'll see that very shortly.
Yeah, so the Overwatch has actually caused one wound. The Animus Speculum coming in through the Alexis has actually dealt a wound.
To the Bulgarian, wow.
Yeah, he's actually used the CP reroll for his save.
Wow.
And he's also failed that. So he's down to 3 CP.
Okay. That's incredible.
Yeah, that is amazing. Like normally you don't see the Animal Speculum doing anything, and he's actually rolled a 5-inch charge, which is like we were predicting enough just to wrap him up.
Hopefully,
and you can see what Matt's doing there. He's just wrapping him up, staying within 3 inches of that objective.
Yeah. So as predicted here, the Colexus has nowhere to go. Without the fly keyword, there's no way he can fall back away from that, and masterfully as well. What you will see here is Matt has elected to take the wounds on this Bulgarian here, so that will not affect the outcome of the Colexus falling out of combat. When this Bulgarian dies, who has 1 wound taken, when he's dead, there's still 5 guys surrounding him, so he can't move away from that either.
Absolutely. Do you think the Bulgarians will have enough attacks to bring down the...
I don't even think it's about killing it. I think it's just about keeping it where it is.
Absolutely.
Again, we hit on 6 even in combats against the Colexus.
I think it might even be bait to try bring in that Imperial Knight into combat against the Bulgarians.
Possibly. If that's bait, I don't know, because I think if I'm Jay, that's where I want to be.
Exactly.
So whether it's bait or not, questionable, but I think he's done the job in terms of stopping the assassin, which is a character, in Ascension, to score points.
Yeah.
And I think it's not bizarre. I'm sure there's reasons to why Jay has made these decisions, but we have powerful, hard to kill characters like the Vinica and this Knight Crusader that are nowhere near the Eternal War objectives.
Absolutely.
And I can't really understand why that's the case. There's a cheer from Jay on the table. Presumably that means something's gone his way.
That's most likely because there was 25 attacks coming through the Bulgarians and only 1 hit which failed to wound.
Wow. Okay.
So obviously Jay happy about that.
Yeah. So
to say the least.
That's crazy actually. That's the power of the collections. Hit on 6s.
Yep.
That's not a lot you can do about it.
Yeah. But there you go. He's wrapped up. The collections attacking back but dealing no damage. But I don't think Matt's really interested in how much damage the collectors can do against him.
He doesn't care. Yeah, at this point, he has the 1-up save, right?
Exactly.
So if he rolls a 1 damage.
Absolutely. But we're going to see the end of the turn here.
And be safe and sound. So how many points have we got for the?
So we've got 4 primary points coming in.
4 more primary points.
4 more primary points for the Catachans there.
Okay.
And they're just counting up the Maelstrom points now.
So you must have some characters onto these primary objectives already.
Yeah.
Because you get cumulative points if you have characters, guys. So on the left-hand side, there's actually a commander on that one. So the way Ascension works, guys, if you have a hero, not a hero, sorry, that's my Age of Sigmar tongue speaking. If you have a character, someone with a character keyword on an objective, you score cumulative points up to a maximum of 3.
Exactly. So this is the second turn he's been holding that objective.
Exactly. So we've got 8 primary objectives.
Yeah. So we've got the 4 primary scored this turn.
Yep.
And we've got 2 points for supremacy.
Okay.
So it's 8-4 at the moment.
So a commander position again. With still no tertiary points, which may or may not be that much of a deal. Like you pointed out, we can only hope to draw. So there's no way that the Astra Militarum player can 32-0 this game.
Absolutely. So you've got to, if you're Jay at this moment, you've got to be thinking, I've got to get that commander off that objective. Because next time it's going to be scoring 3 points.
For sure.
It's going to be crazy.
We're in the Imperial Knights battle on 3 now, guys. So potentially only 2 turns left. On paper, there is no way, I don't think, unless Jay gets on all 3 of the objectives, if the game ends up at around 5, there's no way he can win the Eternal War, which is a big deal. Very big deal. So here we go, measuring out some distances with the Vindicare. I think it's too little too late. You see him moving over now. I think he's actually going to try and advance, be 3 inches away from the objective. That way the Bulgarian can't go to him, the Bulgarian can't retreat and charge the Vindicare, and the Vindicare can just stand there and score the point. So it's really good play again. And that way, a psychic barrier, Bulgarians that are incredibly hard to shift, have very little role in the game, because now all of a sudden, as you can see from where Jay's moved the Vindicare is nice and snug. He's not in trouble. He's now scoring this objective.
Yep. So we're seeing the top of Knight's turn 3, and we've got the cards coming through. We've got the psychological warfare.
Okay,
still got
quite
that.
possible.
Yep. So we've got no prisoners.
Yep.
Secure 2,
Yep.
which is literally just where the Crusaders sat.
Yep, literally.
And we've got Big Game Hunter and a Grudge to Settle. And a Grudge to Settle is essentially you nominate a unit on the enemy's army.
Yep.
And if a knight kills that unit, he scores a point.
Wow. Okay.
So he's nominated the bottom left mortar team. So just that.
He just has to kill the mortar. Okay.
So if a knight kills those mortars, he scores a point.
Great stuff. So we're actually just going to switch over to Pardo again for a little update about what's going on around the rest of the event.
Hi guys, and welcome to another update. So I hope you're all enjoying the stream. Apparently it's a very good game. So the terrain is actually very interesting for that game. There's a lot of line of sight blocking. So for both armies, which are pretty shooty, they're having trouble to actually target stuff. So it's looking really impressive, and at the same time very interesting game. So I hope you're all enjoying that. So some updates on the games. There's about 5 or 6, maybe even 7 games that have already finished. Some interesting finishes there. So on table 6 we've got Adrian Molina Dominguez from Spain. He's playing match Treguet. Very interesting game there. Then we've got Lee Dignam. Sorry, we've got Lee Dignam versus Alvaro Mora. So Alvaro Mora still has his 3 knights pretty much full wounds. But Lee is scoring a lot of points. His army, he's playing Drakari, he's moving all over the place, he's getting a lot of board control, and he's scoring a lot of points. But Alvaro Mora is holding on. He's still got a lot of firepower coming from all the different knights. So it's looking very interesting. But I just think by the hair of a thread that Lee Dignams is in the lead. Table 13 has just finished. So Ross Champion, he came 4th at Heat 4, Warhammer World Heat 4. He's just finished and he's scored a total of 32 points, so max points for him. He played Adrian Dominguez and his guards, so very good. And this is actually a pretty strong Astra Militarum Cadian army. So getting 32 points out of that with his death guard is very important for him. Table 14, we've got Nicholas Teague and Colin Fabre, so both Thousand Suns players. And there's been 2 turns now. So turn 1 and turn 2, they're on turn 3 at the moment, but turn 1 and turn 2, with all the casting, everything was denied by the opposing player except 1. So imagine 2,000 Suns armies, everything casting spells, Magnus on both sides, Magnus on one of the sides, so most spells are there as well, all denied in from turn 1 and turn 2, except 1 smite that got through. That was it, so a lot of null zone there for the psychic spells. Game 24 has just finished as well, with Tom Mika and his Grey Knights getting full points as well. So congratulations to Tom. Ryan Kemp and his Alpha Legion again is playing Tom Spear and his Tau. So we've mentioned both players a couple of times already. Very interesting lists. Ryan is actually winning on the primary and on the secondary at the moment. Tom's into his 3rd turn 3, into his turn 3 shooting phase. So he might hit, and he still has a lot of things really that pack a punch, so that can change drastically in turn 3. Felipe Bernard has just finished. So Felipe, all the way from France, played Javier Otero from Spain. Felipe won 26 points to 6, so Felipe will go straight to at least the top 6 tables. Table 26, we've got Javier Conde. He's just I think he hasn't tabled, but he's the guy that was on the live stream before with his beautiful beige Tau. He's playing Chris Lord and his Dark Angels. And it's not looking good for Chris Lord. So Javier lost the game on the live stream, and I think he's gone full throttle for the win on this one. And he's actually about to table Chris Lord, or what it looks like his table. I haven't really asked because they were concentrated on the dice rolls. It looked like a really important roll, so I didn't actually talk to them, but it isn't looking good for Chris Lord. And lastly, we've got TJ from Feel No Pain. He's all the way from the United States. He's playing Benji from Gibraltar, and his Benji Grant and his Death Guard. It's actually quite a close game with Benji having the upper hand, but Benji started, so TJ still has to hit back on turn 3. So that looking good, and that's my update for now. Hopefully I'll get one more update before the game ends. So if the guys at the live stream are ready, guys, you ready? Okay, so okay. Hope you see you soon. I'll be back in about 30 minutes, hopefully.
Welcome back to the Gibraltar GT. Coverage brought to you by Hellstorm Wargaming and SM Battle Reports. We're currently in Knights Battle Round 3. It's currently all to play for. Obviously, the Astra Militarum sees the initiative. We have Matt playing the Astra Militarum, the Catachans, and we have Jay playing Imperial Knights House Krast. So, Nick, what are you informed as to what's been going on?
Yeah, so essentially you've got the movement phase done. It was relatively quick for the Knights, only having 2 left.
Yep.
But you've got the Iron Storm that went into the mortars, which have the grudge to settle.
Yes.
Failing to do anything. No damage, no hits whatsoever. It was a horrible shooting.
That's good.
But you've got the Avenger Battle Cannon, Avenger Gatling Cannon.
That's the one.
Going into the Hellhound, which is just in front of him, dealing some damage. We'll get confirmation about how much damage.
I'm sure he'll finish him off with combat if he needs to.
Most likely, yeah.
So we have the Crusader still to fire.
Yeah, we still have the Crusader to fire, which you can see the target.
And this is the first night with the Headsman's March, so this is the one that has the damage.
Yeah, this is the one that's going to be doing the damage. I believe that he's going to be looking into the Lehman Russes. At least I would be.
Yeah, I would probably do the same.
Yeah, because essentially when you're playing Knights, if you manage to get rid of those...
the anti-Knight guns.
Anti-Knight, because most lists in the 7050 will have maybe 600-700 points
a little bit of smattering,
that can deal with Knights. So essentially if you get rid of those 700 points, let's say, of that list that can deal with Knights, you're laughing.
Yeah,
you're laughing.
For sure. 100%. So you can see a little bit of deliberation here with Jay. He's not really sure what the right targets are. And this is the kind of pressure that comes to you when you're playing in game 3 at table 1.
Yeah.
There's a lot riding on every game now, realistically, for these players, because everyone on the first 4 tables is in contention to win the event.
I think from at this point on, when you're looking at game 3, if you win this, you're definitely looking into a top 10 spot.
You're looking good.
At least.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. So some more information coming live from the table now. I'm sure Nick will update us very, very shortly. Just want to say thank you to everybody in all the chats across all the platforms. So we're live all weekend across the SM Battle Reports Facebook page, our own YouTube channel, Hellstorm Wargaming, and Hellstorm Wargaming live on Twitch as well, guys, okay? Again, thank you very much for all your support.
So here we've got the thermal cannon only hitting once on the Hellhound, but actually dealing 6 damage.
6 damage. So he's shooting the Hellhound in front of him?
Yeah, the one just in front of him.
Interesting decision.
It is an interesting decision.
I would have thought that the Warden with the Reaper Chainsaw would be enough to just kill that in combat. So if I'm the Knight player, I would not expend any fire on that, and I would fire the juicy target towards the back.
Yeah, and my mistake's actually done 7 damage, because it's the +1.
Of course it is. So how many wounds remaining do we have on this Hellhound? Very, very few.
Yeah, so we've seen the Avenger Gatling Cannon actually doing 3 damage into that Lehman Russ that isn't the commander, which is just sat behind the 3 rocks.
This one here?
Absolutely, yeah. So it's done 3 damage, so only 1 wound going through.
Again, if I was the Knight player, I probably would have shot everything at that Knight.
Yeah, maybe he was out of range of that 36 inches, because you can see it's actually backline deployed.
That's a good point, point.
So maybe the thermal cannon was a better choice of shooting at the Hellhound rather than just Guardsman.
Yeah, that's probably true. Maybe I misread the situation with the range there.
I would say that's most likely the situation that's happening.
So as you can see from the scores on the left of your screen, guys, it's currently 0-8 in favour of Matt for the primary. Matt is also winning the secondary at this point in time, and Matt is losing the tertiary.
Yeah, I think that Matt, even unless he manages to kill the Crusader Warlord, I think the tertiary is actually
the tertiary is almost settled now. So it's very, very interesting. Like we said from the start, if you don't kill it 1 Knight a turn, it soon racks up and soon gets difficult.
Yeah, so we've got a bit of rules deliberation on what the decisions that Matt's making.
Is the whittling, losing power? No, I think it looks strong still. Maybe it's thinning generally, but I think the Mohawk looks strong. So what were you saying, Nick?
Yeah, so they went back on the Iron Storm, and that actually did cause a wound onto the mortars. So that was the save that that Matt had to make, a 6-up, and actually managed to make it.
Okay.
So he's even being cheeky, let's say.
Okay. So even in the face of defeat, he just rolls a 6 for a save and everything's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
All good.
Well, in the face of defeat, I think that primary is going to be very difficult for Matt to get.
Yeah, for sure.
So here we go on the charge phase actually, and you've got the Warden going into Guardsmen that are just there to the right of the Hellhound, and the Hellhound.
So obviously,
which is risky if you think about it.
Yeah, it's also hitting
shots.
Also hitting Hellhound.
And you can see he's got quite a big number of shots.
How many did he get?
We'll get that from the table now shortly. Okay, this is the Guardsman.
Guardsman first. Okay. 2 hits. Looks like no wounds from the guardsman. Some more shots from the guardsman. Or maybe heavy bolters here, I'm not sure. Either way, like we said, charging into the Hellhound is tricky because it auto hits, right? So it's tough.
So it's just down to 11 wounds. I believe that was the flamer that went through dealing that damage.
Okay. So the Warden has 11 wounds remaining.
Yeah, so 11 wounds remaining.
Interestingly,
and that's the heavy bolts at the end that actually didn't manage to.
Okay, so Jay's just measuring his charge here, making sure he can get as far as possible and hit both targets potentially. Can he get through the gap? Yes, he can. Okay.
Yeah, apologies, that's 12 wounds. 12 wounds.
12 wounds, okay, so it's not yet bracketed.
Yeah.
This is important to know.
And he's just charged in, moving over those guardsmen because knights. Just stepping over it and moving into the guard line there.
There's a lot of love for Jay in the chat. A lot of love for Jay. He's a popular man. So as we said at the start, you kind of said that the favour would be in the Astra Militarum hands.
Yeah.
As the game's gone on, kind of feels like changing your mind a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, if you can actually see that knight player, because I think turn 1 was a bit of a whiff for Astra Militarum.
Yeah.
I think the battle of attrition will win. Will be knights. I think it will be knights. But yeah, of course, yeah, the FAQ changed that you cannot move over and charge.
Exactly.
Cannot move over and charge.
So there's a little bit of a recon here. We're just making sure the knight can squeeze past without affecting any of the models. We're seeing what the result is here. I'm not entirely sure I'll be able to go through there, honestly. So Kilimandaros, thank you very much for the follow.
I think the deliberation is that
he can go through.
Yeah.
So as long as both players agree, there's no complaints there. There's a little bit of a crowd watch.
They don't even need an official.
Oh, that's good. That's what's great about an event like this. Everyone gets on. There's a little bit of a crowd gathering. Obviously, this is top table. People want to see what's happening on top table. Two very interesting armies, painted very beautifully. Just throwing down, really. And it's still anybody's game at this point in time. We've been very lucky to have incredible games on the live stream this weekend. I'm looking forward to game 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so we're measuring another charge here from the Crusader. Yep. Even though the Crusader only has his feet, with House Crash, rerolling hits with 12 feet attacks, turn adds up.
Yep. At the end of the day, it is -2 damage D3.
Exactly. The one criticism I'd make for the Knight player is that, although it looks good in terms of what's left alive, he's not playing around the Eternal War points, and that can really come out to bite him.
Yeah, would you have swung around the Crusader the other direction to the Bullgrins to actually secure that?
Possibly. I mean, he has the Vindicator Assassin controlling it this turn. But that's obviously not as durable as the Knight.
Absolutely, I agree.
So these Lemon Rusts can quite easily open fire onto the Vindicator. At least the one on the right, at least. Maybe the one on the left is not close enough to be able to target the character. Excuse me. So combat is ensuing. We have 2 Knights in combat. More than likely we'll see the Guardsman and the Hellhound destroyed in this combat phase. I mean, you'd expect it.
Here we go. He didn't have enough. Yeah, he didn't have enough, obviously, to get into the Hellhound. He had enough distance to get into the Guardsman, but he's obviously got that 3-inch pylon to get into the...
And he declared them both as a target, so he can strike them both.
Absolutely.
If he didn't declare the Hellhound as a target, he could pile into it, but he couldn't strike it.
Yeah, I think he's got plenty of attacks there. He's got 24 attacks. So
yeah, you'll be fine, right?
I think he'll be fine.
You'd put your keys on them. You can kill in both units there.
Absolutely.
Which would be good. That means there's no Hellhounds left.
Yeah.
No trouble from the Flamers coming in.
Yeah, I believe that the Warden being on 11 wounds, is that the second bracket now, or is it 1 wound away from the second bracket?
I think it's in the second bracket. If it has 11 wounds, I think once you go below half, you get bracketed.
So it is hitting on 4s then.
It will be BS4. I think interestingly with the Knights, the weapon skill doesn't degrade. The amount of attacks they have does go down, and the BS goes down. Yeah. So the weapon skills stay the same.
Okay.
But he will more than likely only have 10. The weapon skill doesn't stay the same. Okay, so weapon skill and ballistic skill both go down.
Yeah.
So I'm incorrect. I apologize.
Yeah, I was just thinking because
Just receiving some confirmation.
Yeah, so the Crusaders are attacking first here now.
Okay, so we have 12 attacks with the feet. Stomp, stomp.
Stomping away. Getting those happy feet going.
Welcome to the channel, Kilimanjaro. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to everyone for being in the chats across all 3 platforms. Again, we're live on the SM Battle Reports Facebook page, our own Twitch and YouTube channels across the entire weekend, with coverage from all 6 games in the Gibraltar Grand Tournament. Which Knights are left? So we have a Knight Warden on 11 wounds and a Knight Crusader that's still relatively healthy. But the Castellan is down, guys. The Castellan is dead.
Yeah. So we've just seen the Crusader attacking into the Hellhound. He's managed to kill it and not explode.
Wow, that's big.
That's big.
That is good. I mean,
Okay,
CP
so he's
reroll
actually CP rerolled it.
to explode it. Does it explode?
I would do. I think it would do the same. Yeah, he has exploded. I think they're just measuring up damage.
How many wounds across all the knights there? That's interesting.
I think they're rolling that up now.
I think I would probably do the same. So we're actually only down to 2 command points for the Catachan player now.
Yeah.
So I'll just update that on the stream for you guys to make it nice and clear. I would have done the same. I think this is why you take the Hellhounds. Exploding on 4+ is great. Once they're dead, they can't do anything for you, so you may as well explode them. If you have the command points to do it, why not? And this is a really reliable way of doing damage to knights, especially when they're both together.
Absolutely, and I think Hellhounds are a great way to just charge them up, fire flamers, and either they have to stand back and shoot,
or they
force them to move back.
Exactly.
Or they have to come up to you and attack you.
They're just annoying. They're just frustrating to play against.
I think they're a great unit to be using in a brigade of guards. Most people just opt for sentinels for the cheap, cheerful brigades, but I think Hellhounds are a brilliant.
You get the value out of them, yeah.
And not just that, they'll give you the ground domination. But I wonder how much damage that the knights have taken from the explosion.
So Hobo J, yes, we actually have a Vindicator still alive here, a Vindicator still alive over here, and we have the Colexus.
Yeah, so the Wardens, the Crusaders actually, I believe, killed all the guards. Apologies, the Warden.
So the Warden here struck with his feet and killed this whole unit of Astra Militarum here, guys.
And now you can see him
consolidating.
Yeah, so he's just consolidated onto our primary objective. So
okay.
Now we're seeing Jay move up the board.
Yeah, so Jay will hopefully be scoring 2 objectives at the end of this game, 2 Eternal War.
Yeah, that
made 2 points.
Yep.
So in order for Jay to win the Eternal War, guys, he needs to somehow take the commander. There's a company commander on an objective somewhere in this region. He's just accumulating points every turn. So when Matt has his next turn, he'll score 3 Eternal War points. It's going to be incredibly difficult for Jay to beat him on that, but at least he may be able to limit him to a minor loss on the Eternal War.
Absolutely.
Because not only do we have 32 tournament points to play for, we also have major wins and minor wins in each category. So for the Eternal War, if you win that Eternal War by more than 4 victory points, 4 or more, you get a major win and you get all 16.
Yeah.
If you win it by less than 4, you get 12 points.
Yeah.
So it's all to play for, really.
I agree. So going on to the board, you've just seen the Colexus attacking into the Bullgrins.
Yep.
Actually dealing a wound.
Wow.
Actually managing to deal a wound. So we've got the Bullgrins now attacking back into the Colexus. Yeah, it's the one with the Storm Shield that's actually taking the damage from the Bullgrins.
The Stab Shield.
Yeah, the Stab Shield.
Okay, interesting. So once we've seen this combat resolved, we will be into battle round 4.
Absolutely.
And
here we go, 4 wounds going into the Colexus now.
Okay.
Fails 3 saves.
Fails 3 saves.
Yeah, fails 3 saves.
Did they just flat 1 damage or?
And that was done by Hellstorm, that's why he slammed.
The Colexus is dead. That's the Colexus down.
Yeah, because 2 damage.
And now all of a sudden we're piling into that Vindicator. So what we'll probably see now in the Astra Militarum turn is that the Vindicator is destroyed.
Absolutely, yeah.
And all of a sudden it's spikes against the wall again for the Knights. There's so many spirals and turns in this game. It's incredible.
Yeah. It's surprising. It's not really surprising that the Bullgrins end up killing the Colexus.
No,
it's just weight of attacks.
Exactly. They're a nasty unit. Very underrated and very good in an Astra Militarum army. They fill a role that you don't have. They're durable.
Absolutely. I wouldn't even say that it's underrated. I just think that there's so many good units in the Codex. You've got Basilisk, you've got Manticores, you've got Leman Russes.
It's just
so many variations. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Dan Brook in the channel, can it be a draw if he gets a secondary and tertiary? Yes, it can. So the way it will split, you'll get 16 tournament points each, but then we do use logistical points in case of a tiebreaker. Yeah. So depending on how many points you've killed, you will get that as a tiebreaker. The game will still be a draw. You'll both still get 16 tournament points, but at the end of the tournament, if you're level on tournament points at that point, you'll go to kill points.
Absolutely.
Or logistical points is what we call it. And we do have our own tiebreakers here as well. So we do have soft scoring in terms of best army and best game votes, which can make the difference at the end. So it's not just about being a great general, it's about being a great person as well and painting your army beautifully.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot to play for.
At the end of Jay's turn, we've got 2 primary points for that Knight and the Vindica.
Yep.
So hopefully he'll be able to be holding that
He's got any Maelstrom objectives?
Yeah, he's got two Maelstroms, which is no prisoners and big game hunting.
Okay.
So that's 2 for primary.
Okay.
And 2 for the actual.
So at the end of battle round 3, we see Jay take over in the Maelstrom of War. So now at this point, if the game ended now, it would be the 16-16 that we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jay is winning on the secondary, he's winning on the tertiary. In fact, it won't be a 16-16 because it's not major winning.
Minor victory.
Exactly, yeah.
So minor victory.
It's not major.
The only
winning
way
on
you
the
can
secondary.
get a major victory on the secondary is get 50% more points than your opponent.
Exactly. So Jay, at this point in time, Jay would have to have 8 secondary points, not 5.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Jay will be getting the tertiary as it is, unless those Limarasses can pump out some damage to those Crusaders.
It's tough. It's very tough.
It's very close. It could go either way. I don't know who's going to win.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to stop saying Knights. I'm going to stop saying Catachan. At least the Hobby will be the winner. That's for sure.
Yeah, Dan, you should know that we've having to go into no retreat. I do believe you've been twice now, huh? The Blood Ravens and the Custodians.
Yeah, and that's 2 CP they're on each.
What's right?
They're on 2 CP each.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the CP are going to be spent.
This is such a swingy game.
Yeah, it's going back and forth. It's the best ones to be playing.
Yeah, it's the best ones to commentate on as well.
Yeah,
100%.
It's horrible to see a whitewash and just say, oh, well, okay, that's over. But this is definitely not a whitewash. This is a back and forth game.
So TJ Ray, could this be a draw? Potentially. So the way we'd have to have a draw is we'd have to have Jay lose the Eternal War in a major loss.
Yeah.
So that would give Matt 16 points, okay?
Yeah.
And then the Catachan player has to lose the secondary by 50% less than the Knight player, which would be 8 points to 4.
So essentially, if the Catachan player remains on 4 objective points, and then you see Jay get to at least 8
on the secondary,
on the
secondary war.
Yeah, apologies. Yeah, the Maelstrom. Then yes, he will get a major
16.
victory. Yeah. Because then he'll win the tertiary as well.
Yeah.
Which means that's 16.
Yeah. Will we see a draw though? We could. I don't think we will.
I don't think so. I think one person is going to win.
I agree. I think in one good turn of shooting, the game could turn on its head.
Absolutely.
And this, I don't want to count anyone's chickens or put the game in anyone's hands, but if you see these battle tanks perform well and take out the Warden, which only has 11 wounds left at this point,
or even the Crusader, which is
exactly,
the Warlord as well. So it's only got 15 as well.
So the Warden is this one here, right?
Yeah, I believe the Warden's the furthest one up the board.
So the Warden's this one here, and this Warden has 11 wounds remaining.
Yeah.
And the Crusader is here, and 15 wounds remaining. Yeah. So what you could potentially see from the Astra Militarum player is the Lemon Russ focus on the one with 11 wounds remaining, deal 11 wounds, that takes him off the Eternal War objective as well, and then these Bulgrin defeat the Vindicator on this Eternal War objective as well.
I think that Vindicator's brown bread. I think he's absolutely
brown bread.
Yeah. I think if those Bulgrins were capable of killing a Calexus,
you think his days are numbered?
Yeah, I think his days are numbered. Yeah, Hobo J, I would agree with you. That's Lucky Dice is what he needs.
Lucky Dice is all anyone needs in a game of Warhammer, right?
A little smile from the dice gods is what anyone needs, I suppose.
We've seen some horrible and some incredible dice rolls across this weekend so far. Yeah, so for those of you who just joined us, we're live at the Gibraltar Grand Tournament, the first of its kind. It's going incredibly well so far. Every player looks like they're having fun. We're live across 3 platforms this weekend. So we're live across the SM Battle Reports Facebook page, against the YouTube channel on Hellstorm Wargaming, and on Hellstorm Wargaming Twitch as well, guys.
So again, we're seeing the guard movement, and those guardsmen look a bit close to that warden, don't they?
The ones
there, just the one there on the right. You can see them there, just a bit close. Maybe again forgetting that heroic intervention that it is a character.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, he wants to get that Eternal War himself, but.
So we're seeing a perils here on the first psychic power. So we're looking at a reroll, a CP reroll here. Yeah, so he's got an 8. It's gone off.
Okay.
His psychic power's gone off. I wonder if that was psychic barrier.
One command point reroll left. One command point left for
one
Matt and the
command point
Catachans.
left, but that was psychic barrier on the Bulgars.
The Matachans, they call them. So psychic barrier on the Bulgars again. We've seen this a lot.
Yeah. Psychic barrier on the Bulgars and Night Shroud on the Leman Russ now, going off without a hitch.
Wow, so that's all, every turn now, so 4 turns, he's had 8 successful casts.
Yeah.
That's something that you can't...
Almost perils at the end, but
well,
that's what CP are for.
Exactly, yeah.
As fickle as they can be sometimes.
That's why you have 14, that's why you bring the brigade of the Astra Militarum and get all them command points, guys.
So the commander has ordered himself to move.
Okay.
And reroll 1s on the other Leman Russ.
So we see some really sound play from both players, really. It looks like the Astra Militarum are a lot more focused on the objectives, which is honestly what you have to be on these AAA missions, guys. So the Instant Battle Report's structure is 3 missions: Eternal War, Maelstrom, and Tertiary.
So yeah, you've got the commander there on the right side, just moving up to the objective. So he's contesting that with the Vindica. Unless the Vindica dies, then that's another primary point for Jay.
Exactly. So what you guys can see here is this model here is the company commander. Yeah. He's currently contesting the objective against the Vindica. And if the Vindica dies, like we already established, the company commander will get the objective. And that's another set of cumulative scoring on an objective. This is going to be very hard to shift for the night player because he has to make it all the way over there all of a sudden.
And when you're considering that Bulgarians are in front of him,
it's not moving, is it? No.
Absolutely not.
No. The 1+ save and the 3+ invul, it all adds up, I'm afraid.
Absolutely. It was unlucky for Jay at the beginning not doing anything with Siege Break.
Yeah, definitely. It could have changed the game.
It could have changed the game.
Because we have the company commander down here by this crash.
That's the one that's, I think, scored, what, 4 points now?
Well, yeah, maybe even more.
4 points?
So he was on there in turn 1, so that's 1 point, turn 2, 2 points, so that's 3 in total, and then 3 more, so 6 points. Yeah.
That is game changing.
And then obviously this turn he's not going to die, so he'll score 9 Eternal War points from a single company commander.
Okay, yeah, so the normal Lima Russia, we're seeing the shooting phase coming up, he's shooting at the warden, and Jay's opted to rotate his Iron Shield, so he's down to 1 CP.
Okay, good idea.
Definitely.
That's what it's for, I guess.
Trying to keep that warden alive. So yeah, that's 9 shots on the battle cannon. We're going to be seeing coming through now.
So we have the 4+ invul, we're a little bit more durable than before, but I don't know.
4+ invulnerable can be a lifesaver, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. The difference on even a single dice roll gives the chances by quite a lot.
Absolutely. So we've got 7 hits coming through. Here's the wound roll. Okay. So just 3 wounds, and now we're going to be seeing the 4-up involves.
Looks like he passed them all. The fist bump from Jay. That fails 1.
Because he failed 1.
Okay. Oh, he fist bump because he failed 1. Okay.
So Lehman Russ battle cannon causes 1 damage.
You'd expect him to do a little bit more, but you take it. You take the damage.
So here we come with the heavy bolters. I don't believe they're causing any damage.
These heavy bolters have been the unsung hero this
yeah,
game.
absolutely.
You don't realize how many you have in an Astra Militarum army.
I think it's just that -1.
Yeah,
maybe.
-1,
even on nights.
Yeah, for sure. Because you have the 3+ save, that becomes a 4+. And 4+ you fail 50% of the time, so.
Yeah, so here goes the tank commander. The tank commander now firing into the warden as well, so that's 10 shots now.
Okay.
Rolling up. With the rerolls of 1s, of course.
Yep.
So 3 miss.
This is good, reliable shooting for an Astra Militarum player.
So that's 7 hits.
It's great. Looks like we got 5 wounds there.
That's 5 wounds, that's big.
4+ saves.
Oh, but only fails 2.
That's not bad. Let's see his D3 damage.
It causes 3 damage.
3 damage.
Yeah. That's not bad.
So we're down to 7 wounds in the water now.
Oh, he's thinking about the final CP to reroll damage.
Okay. He's done it. He's done it.
Yeah. Okay, so he's down to 6 wounds. He's caused an extra wound from that.
So maybe worth it. There's 6 wounds remaining on the water now.
Yeah.
But we're out of command points for Matt and the Catachans.
Yep, but is that the last bracket on the water? Is that the last bracket on the water now?
I think it may be.
I think it might be.
I can find out. I have the codex in front of me.
Yeah, that's the final bracket. I just got confirmation from the table.
So now you have an interesting decision for the Astra Militarum player. Just leave it on the last bracket, hit on 5s.
Yep.
It's going to hit on 6 against the night shroud target.
Yep.
Or do you then?
You've also got to consider. Do you want to take it off that
objective? It's a character.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think you have to.
Okay, so here we go. The plasma also coming through, taking 4 more wounds. So it's down to 2 wounds.
2 wounds remaining.
Down to 2.
And now we really see the prevalence of these tank commanders in the Astra Militarum. See Jay at the table there, just trying to wipe away the sweat beads, just getting very, very, very touchy here.
So unit of 10 guardsmen trying to finish the job now.
Okay. Words, stranger things have happened.
I could tell you stories.
I remember when 8th came out actually, and one of the headlines was even a guardsman can wound a knight now, and you might be seeing guardsmen kill a knight.
Here we go. So 6 lads got hits.
Okay.
Manages 2 wounds.
Oh.
That's 2 wounds.
2 free up saves. Here we go. Oh no, this.
Oh, come on.
Looks like
He's failed 1.
He's failed one. He's got 1 wound left. How the guardsmen are going to charge and be the heroes that the Catachan world need.
This is amazing. If guardsmen kill a knight, I'm walking out. I'm walking out.
We'll drop the mics. It's over, guys.
So the unit of 5 that's just beside also firing into it.
All we need is one wound. Clean that one wound.
All you need is one.
We actually have some more guardsmen available to fire to the left of that knight as well. So.
Okay, so he's throwing a frag grenade along with 8 shots.
Okay.
Of lasguns. Most people forget those grenades.
Got the grenades, yeah.
So 4 hits. He gets 2 more wounds. 2 more wounds.
All we need is 1,
lasgun.
3, or 2. There's 1 command point left for Jay, so he can reroll if he needs to.
He kills the knight. Oh, he's got 1 CP
The last
left.
CP might be
so
used
he's
there,
failed
guys.
1 save using
The last
his
CP is used. Here we go. Lots of pressure on this one dice roll.
Wow, here we go. He's re-rolling it. Last CP.
No pressure, Jay. Jay steps up.
Another smiles on the table. Another
Here we go.
smiles.
Oh,
Here we
it's
go.
tense. Here we go.
Here we go. He's dead. He rolled a 2.
He rolled a 2.
Wow. The warden dies to frag grenades and lasguns.
Wow. The guardsman,
Wow.
guys. Don't write them out. I think that's a free hit roll, so no explosion there.
But he rolls a 3 and does not explode.
Okay, so Jay is also out of command points. He's also almost out of knights now.
Yeah,
Nick. There's
almost
one,
out of knights.
There's 1 knight left.
Wow. Yep.
Can you believe it,
Jay,
guys?
believe it or not, he's actually died to frag grenade and lasguns.
You can see his forehead is red. Jay is red, guys. Gutted mate from Hobo J in the chat. F's in the chat for the warden, guys, that got took down by the Astra Militarum. Wow.
Wow,
All of a
I'm
sudden,
speechless.
yeah.
I'm speechless.
Oh, God.
So here we go. The Bullgren's firing at the Vindicar with the frag launchers.
So we actually still have 36 minutes left of the round.
Yeah.
So the next night turn won't take long. Potentially only 2 models available. That won't take long. And then we'll go from there. But interesting to see what the Astra Militarum player can do maelstrom card-wise this turn.
Yeah. So now these are the mortars you're seeing rolled up into the Vindicar,
Yep.
which is the Vindicar on the right, I believe.
Yep.
So 1 wound, and yeah, causes a wound. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
And now you'd expect the Bulgarians to finish off that Vindicar in combat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would assume as much.
I mean, if you can kill a Calexis, you can kill a Vindicar, yeah?
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Theoretically.
But at the end of the day, it's a dice game. So.
Yeah, exactly. So everyone knows that sometimes when you have 6s to hit is when you hit the most, and then when you have 4+ to hit is when
You
don't
hit the leaves
roll.
there. So we have the Bulgarian almost available to charge soon. We're just finishing off some final shots from the shooting, I do believe.
Absolutely. I think that's
Is that another wound taken off?
Yeah,
Looks like the
that
mortars
just
are
got
firing.
that through from the table. That's the mortars that caused another wound.
Okay.
So it's down to 14 wounds, I believe.
So here you see the prevalence of strength 4 guns against knights, guys.
Absolutely. Here
6
we
is
go.
to wound, who cares?
Yeah. So like orcs, 6s to hit, don't mind.
Who cares?
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. You will when I
crazy
cause
stuff.
2 wounds with lasguns.
Damn,
Yeah,
so
so you've got the Bullgrens charging into
Yep.
the Vindicar.
you're 1 inch away. You would hope and expect
But
that
he's got
every
a double
single-
1 charge.
Did he?
Yeah, he's got a double 1 charge.
And of course, we're out of command points on both players now, so there's no way they can
No
roll
CP
any of these
reroll,
charges.
but I think he's close enough to actually just
Yeah,
get with
okay.
an inch.
Gosh. So interestingly, with a 2-inch charge, you can actually roll. You can move 3 inches basically. You don't have to be
Essentially,
within an
yeah,
inch.
because all you need to be is, let's say, 2.99
Exactly,
inches.
exactly. And obviously in 40k, if you're within 1 inch of a guy, within 1 inch of an opponent, you can strike.
Yep, that's common.
So it looks like almost all of the Bulgarian are going to be able to hit this
yeah,
Vindicar
because
assassin.
they'll be able to pile in there.
Exactly, exactly.
So it'll be most likely another primary.
Yeah, and of course the guardsman in the middle with the warden, with the destruction of the warden. When I can get the mouse over to the correct screen, that's another primary. So all 3 primary are being held by the Astra Militarum.
Yep.
Ooh.
Wow. I'm still speechless. Frag grenades and lasguns that killed the warden.
This is the
But
thing.
this is what
A lot
happens.
of people don't use all the guns that all the army has. They think about the big guns and forget the small guns and think, I'm not going to do anything. I won't fire them.
Absolutely.
It's important to fire every single
I
gun.
think that's where we've seen the bolter drill come in now. Everyone
Absolutely.
remember the faithful bolter.
The faithful bolter. Yeah. Guard players, man, from Davidson. Yeah. Guard are good, especially in monocodex like we're seeing here at the Gibraltar
Yeah.
Grand Tournament.
Yeah.
There's a lot of players and armies that you wouldn't expect to do well doing okay. We have a Custodes list.
Yeah,
6
absolutely.
Dreadnoughts.
That's Toby Lydiard.
Toby
as well.
Lydiard, yeah, of course. So he has the Black Custodes, the NMM Custodes,
Yeah.
and they look incredible, and he's doing really well.
Absolutely, yeah.
We have a Tyranid list with 6 Carnifexes.
Yeah. as well. Well, you just saw Toby Lydia actually beat knights.
Yeah.
Actually beat knights and assassins.
Wow.
In his game.
So anything can happen here at Mono Codex. You see on the top tables, like I was saying at the start, it's mostly the common themes. So there's Kraffelella, there's Drakari, there's a lot of knights around. We're seeing some Drakarios, we actually have a Gene Stealer Cult player relatively high as well.
Yeah, as
with
well.
a triple vulture. A little bit obnoxious. But that's a lot of shots, that's 120
At the
shots.
end of the day, it is a tournament.
Sure. You have to remember that, right? There's a guy with a triple Baneblade, so like you said, it is a tournament. So heading back into the game on the top table at the Gibraltar GT we're at now, we have Matt playing the Astra Militarum and we have Jay playing the Knights. It looks like we're in Matt's.
Yeah, so at the end of that turn, you've seen 5 primary points.
Wow, and you also see the Vindicator Assassin defeated.
Yeah, so that's 5 primary points and 2 secondary points for
Okay.
the actual cast
so Matt actually goes ahead in the
secondary. Yeah, seeing obviously those three major points being scored again by the company commander. Again, that company commander sitting on that objective, managing to score those extra points. I think he's running away with the primary. I just think he's running away with the primary.
He's currently 13-2.
Yeah.
So
all he needs is 4 more points to actually.
There's no way you can.
Yeah. I don't think there's any way right now without the assassins, especially. He's just got 1 Vindicator left.
Yeah, there's the 1 Vindicator up here. The last Vindicator, and then obviously we have the Knight Crusader, which is damaged at this point.
It is damaged.
So it's looking like an uphill battle now, and I think so we've gone from Astra Militarum win to the Knight win, and now the Astra Militarum win. Obviously nothing is guaranteed, but it's a very uphill battle for the Imperial Knights player now, for sure.
There's 14 moves left of that. So.
At least he isn't using Voicerer and those guys are such hipsters. Matt's the top bloke though, so you can't help hating too much. TJB 93, Matt is an absolute gent. Yeah, I met him this weekend and he has nothing but kind words for everyone. Yeah. And he's very gracious when he plays Warhammer, so it's nice to see people like that doing well.
And he uses bullguns.
He uses bullguns?
Yeah. How can you be angry at any Astra Militarum player that uses
And
bullguns?
I'm a fan of snowy bases and he's got a snowy army, so. And interestingly, what we do see as well is Jay currently has 6 active Maelstrom objectives. And like we said before, when you have 3 or more active at the end of the game, you lose 1 victory point. So if Jay doesn't score any of these points, we could see -2 to his secondary objectives. We see Matt sit down. Matt sat down. He's more comfortable now, more relaxed. He thinks the game's in his hands. Jay's stressing. Jay's got the tape measure. He's bending down, checking the line of sight. It's very intense going into battle round 4 here, guys. Imperial Knights turn 4.
Yeah, so top of the Imperial Knights turn 4, we're seeing the cards coming through. He's still got Defend 4, Secure 5. Area Denial now.
Area Denial.
Yeah, which you can see that it's been blocked by those guards over there just off on the right. Defend 2, still got Psychological Warfare, and still have Grudge to settle.
So we actually see the Crusader move backwards, Nick. What do you think of that?
The Knight moving backwards. He's probably he's trying to get out of line of sight. He's trying to hide.
He's accepted he's not going to win the Eternal War at this point.
Yeah, I think he's conceded the Eternal War.
It's damage mitigation now, really,
absolutely.
right?
I think he's just going to try and go for that secondary.
Has he got Secure Objective too? Or?
Well, no, he's got Defend 2.
Okay, so he wants to keep the Crusader alive.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's what I would be looking at as well.
Yeah,
I'd be looking at, look, I'm not going to win the primary. He's ahead by 11 points.
Let's make sure I win the secondary.
Let's try at least get a minor victory on the secondary because I've got the tertiary in the back.
Yeah. So he would still have lost the game, but very, very slightly. And it serves him good stead going into game 4, basically, guys. Interesting stuff. This is the downfall of playing Knights, okay? So whilst it looks great, you have all these guns, all this firepower, you only have 6 models.
Oh, of course,
when you lose them, it's very, very impactful, especially in a Maelstrom War.
The rule of thumb for Knights, when you're fighting Knights, is if you kill a Knight's turn, you're winning.
Yeah, and if you have less Knights in the amount of turns, you're gonna win if you kill 1 a turn.
Absolutely.
And this is what this guard army can do. It can kill Knights, like we're seeing here.
So here we're seeing the Gatling cannon firing into the Bullgryns.
Okay, so he wants his Bullgryns dead.
He definitely wants his Bullgryns dead.
I think now for Matt, he just keeps the Bullgryns on the point, protecting the company commander, and that's it.
I don't even know if I would actually fire at the Bullgryns.
I think, like we agree that he's only trying to stop the secondary objectives now, and they're protecting the Eternal War objectives.
Most likely to stop the tertiary line breaker.
Yeah, maybe
which is the Bullgryns will be the easiest one just to walk up the wall.
Exactly. And even the company commander can just move. He knows he's won the Eternal War for a major.
Absolutely.
Just move himself straight into a corner, can't shoot him.
But you still got that Vindicator. So you need to be careful
True.
that you can just get quickly sniped off.
There is quite a lot of line of sight blocking towards the top right hand side of the corner.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it'd be good for the company commander just to jump in behind that and be safe for the rest of the game, really.
Absolutely.
So we're still in the Knights 10-4.
Yeah, so here we go. That's 4 saves of those 5 failed.
Oh, wow.
4 of those 3 up invulnerables have been failed.
It's a good job he's not playing Knights. He'd have lost the Knight 10 with
Yeah,
those rolls.
so that's it. That's all the invulnerables gone.
Wow.
So now there's the thermal cannon going in.
That's amazing. So 2 damage each from the Avenging Eye Cannon as well.
Yep, absolutely. So he was seeing 2 wounds at -4, I believe it is.
Yeah, the thermal cannon.
Yep.
D6 damage, and if you're within that melee range, it's 2d6, take the highest.
So that's another Bullgrim down.
Jevonson says, I have 3k points of voice range, and that Jay likes to wipe the board
D6
in one
damage
turn
coming in.
shooting. It seems like we have a lot of fans of Jay in the channel.
Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, 1d6 damage, that's what they're measuring up. So that's 2 wounds.
Okay, so you can see the shooting was quite effective against this Bullgrim.
Oh, yeah.
With a 3+ immoral and a 1+ save, you can still take him down.
Yeah, so that thermal cannon's actually just put Bullgrim down to 1 wound.
Okay.
So here we go, the Ironstorm rocket pods going into the guardsman just by the center. He can just see them.
Okay, the ones that are holding the central eternal war
so
objective.
he can just get that area denied.
So these models here, guys.
Yeah, those ones there. So there's 2 guardsmen killed by the Ironstorm, so who knows, maybe psychological warfare might come into play here.
Yeah, possibly.
So psychological warfare could score area denial. It could be a bit of a sweep for Imperial Knights for the secondary, but
and that would be good to see, especially for Jay.
Might be hoping too much, but there's another heavy start. There's the heavy start of killing 3 from the other unit.
Okay.
So psychological warfare might actually be coming into play here as well.
Good decisions from
good
Imperial
split
Knights
fire, I believe, there from the Imperial Knights.
Splitting fire with the Knights is always a difficult thing. It's always very hotly contested. Do you split your fire? Do you focus everything into killing one thing?
Yeah, so here we go, the Vindica firing in as well. If I'm not mistaken, he's fired into the mortars and actually managed to kill one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So interestingly, they're not the ones with the grudge to settle, though, are they? The other ones are.
Sorry?
They're not the Astra Militarum.
No, they are not the grudge to settle. I mean the ones on the far left.
In the far left corner, yeah, for sure. Johnny into the 40k says, I'm on the same wavelength as you. I've got a beer on the go whilst watching these games and painting my Guardians of the Covenant. That sounds like a good plan.
So the Bullgrim's passing their morale.
Okay. Some more morales for the Guardsmen, it looks like.
Yeah, that's morale for the Guardsmen. Middle unit passed. I'm going on to the unit there on the left where they're pointing at now.
They're just working out the modifiers for the negatives here.
Absolutely. This is big for Jay. He needs a failed morale here for the extra point.
I'm not entirely sure the unit can even fall. Some interesting eyes coming across to us from the table there.
So they're getting +1 leadership from the commander. That's within 6 inches.
Okay.
And we're going to see that.
Looks like he may have passed the morale there with the Guardsman.
Yeah, so he's passed it, and now the mortar's doing morale, which also passed.
So no psychological warfare for the
No
Night Player.
psychological warfare or area denial for the Night Player.
And all of a sudden the sweep you were talking about is non-existent.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it looks like I may have scored some points, but not as many as we'd like to have hoped.
Yeah, so I believe that's going to be the end of the Knight's turn, and that's the start of defending objective 2.
So no points scored.
No points for them.
Okay, so battle round 5, and we have 24 minutes remaining in this game 3 of the Gibraltar Grand Tournament on the top table, guys.
I think for time-wise, they played it quite perfectly.
Yeah, it's working out well. Hopefully they get their 6th and 7th in if they roll for that.
Yeah. I'm sure they will. If the Astra Militarum can roll well in shooting this one, I don't think we're going to see it.
No, me neither.
I don't think we're going to see it.
I think when that night falls over, I think the handshake will probably come out. Because that lone Vindicator is going to score no points for the rest of the game.
Most likely.
So we'll see what happens here. Perhaps the Lemon Rush at the back is slightly out of line of sight. We're seeing some cards drawn by the Astra Militarum player. Obviously, like we said at the start, you have to score the points if you have 3 left at the end of the game. For every 3 you have, you can only have a maximum of 6 cards. But for every 3 you have, you are -1 victory point on the Maelstrom of War, guys, okay? So let's say you have 6 cards active at the end of the game, you are -2 victory points, which can make a huge impact. It could be the difference between Matt winning a major victory and a minor victory on the Maelstrom of War.
Yeah, I think that is going to be a difference, but we've just got the cards in, and that's hold the line.
Okay, this is quite possible.
Behind enemy lines,
Again,
possible
again,
with a
look,
move.
you see the measuring the bullgrin up here.
Yeah, absolutely. Secure objective 4, which is just where those mortars
Exactly,
are. So
that's nice and safe.
And troops.
Objective 4 there for you guys.
Yeah. And the last one is troops on the ground, which is hold 3 objective markers with infantry. So
this again is possible.
Again, very possible because you've got the mortar team on the right that can just move up.
Yep.
Then you've got the mortar team on the left that can just move up.
And then you've got the guardsmen in the middle.
The guardsmen in the middle already holding 3.
So all of the objectives in the backfield.
Or even those guardsmen moving back.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. They're just advancing backwards to capture that objective.
Basically, yeah. So things are looking rosy for the Astra Militarum.
Yeah, I think they're going to be doing a nice, easy, clean sweep.
Yeah, I think we'll see a 28-4 at the end of this game.
Most likely.
Although we can maybe even draw the tertiary, so it could be a 30-2.
I think so, because if those bullgrins get line breaker and that knight falls over,
so
the wall
behind enemy lines, you get line breaking naturally anyway, right?
Exactly.
So the knight falls, that's 1 tertiary to the warlord. The bullgrins in the enemy objective, enemy deployment zone. Sorry, that's 1 objective, one tertiary for line breaker. And all of a sudden, we're tied on the tertiary. Matt is probably going to get a major on the maelstrom, and then a major on the eternal one.
Yeah,
30-2.
It's looking like
essentially.
That. Matt now advancing up his bullgrins, rolling another 1.
Oh no!
So that's 8 ones in total.
Did he not make it just inside the deployment zone?
Yeah, he needed 6 for the behind enemy lines point.
Okay, so he's not quite there yet.
No, he's not. He's not there for behind enemy lines. I think he's got to hold the line.
The guardsmen here, they're going to be able to move.
Yeah.
Which is going to be important because they can move and advance again, and surely they will get definitely inside that enemy deployment zone.
Yeah.
Because obviously we have the company commander sat on the Eternal War objective that we see here.
Yeah.
And he can issue move to these guardsmen now, and they can move straight into the deployment zone.
Roll.
As long as
he does a roll of 1 again for his
and Matt's
advance.
quite good at rolling 1s for his advance, so we'll see what happens in that regard.
So we'll see what happens now in the psychic phase, what psychic powers he decides to employ.
Yeah.
Or more like which targets.
Yeah.
Because I would be thinking maybe even moving up the astropaths for those smites.
And just smite,
Yeah, just smite.
I think it's 1 damage smite from an astropath.
Yeah. But
why not?
But 1 more?
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen las guns and frag grenades take down, right?
Exactly.
Why not 1 damage smite?
Yeah, why not, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, it's a crazy game.
Yeah.
Crazy game.
I think it's brilliant.
Again, thank you to everyone that's tuned in across all the platforms. We're live all weekend. Game 4 at the end of today will be a very hotly contested game. Hopefully again table 1. So we'll see high level play on a beautiful table. I imagine we'll change the table again for the stream tomorrow morning.
Yep.
So we'll be on fresh new terrain tomorrow morning, but for game 4 this evening, we'll be on the same table. We'll have incredible armies, beautifully painted, and that'll be live across the SM Battle Report Facebook page and our Twitch, Hellstorm Wargaming.
Yep, so there's Night Shroud on the Lehman Russ going off.
As you see again. Okay, so that's 9 out of 9 Psychic Powers casted successfully.
Yeah.
And then let's see where we put Psychic Barrier, if we put it anywhere at all.
Yeah.
Could this be 10 out of 10 Psychic Powers successfully casted?
Here we go. We're just seeing the Psychic Barrier. He might be considering putting that on the commander.
So it looks like it was a
Okay,
success.
so he's just put it on the Lehman Russ as well. So it's +1 save, -1 to hit.
Okay, so we're stacking on the Lehman Russ, why not?
Yeah.
Prevents death, I suppose.
Yeah. At the end of the day, those Lehman Russes are what have put in the work, so
Yeah, exactly. They're the workhorses, eh?
it's worth protecting them. Yeah, so here we go, move, and he's actually managed to get into the deployment zone with
So
him.
as we predicted, the Astra Militarum guys are now in the deployment zone, securing that Maelstrom objective behind enemy lines, and they're also going to secure line break if the game ends.
If the game ends.
Unless the Vindicator somehow manages to kill all 3, and the Knight doesn't die.
Yep.
In order to get 30 points for the victory, Matt has to kill the Warlord Knight Crusader in this turn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I'm not entirely sure is possible. We'll soon find out.
You've got 5 mortars that can go into the Vindicator.
True.
Okay, but he's opted, I've just got it from the table, he's opted to go into the Knight. 19 shots going into the Knight with the mortars.
Okay, so he's firing both at the same time.
Yep.
Okay, that's very good.
So 5 hits. 1 wound.
It looks like a save.
1 pass save.
Yeah. And I'm not entirely sure if this Lehman Russ has line of sight to the like we said there. We'll soon
Yeah,
be able to find out.
that's definitely questionable, but he could probably just see it over the building.
Yeah,
Remember, it's got
possibly.
those Iron
And
rocket pods on
it
top.
will be 50% obscured, so it
Absolutely.
will potentially get that +1.
But I don't think it's
might not be
inside
touching
any
it.
terrain.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not inside any terrain, so it won't be receiving 50%. But it most likely got the line of sight to it because he was on the crate.
a very tall model, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, had the line of sight. So we'll see what happens now.
So they're just trying to total points. the papers out. They're making sure everything's correct.
So they've actually deliberated that now, and he's forgot to move the Leman Russ that's just behind the 3 stones, which cannot see the knights. It cannot see
Okay, so the stones are actually preventing it from seeing the knight.
Yeah, those stones are actually preventing line of sight. I think they're counting up maybe a summary here.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see what's happening
Yeah,
there.
there you go. So both Leman Russes could not draw line of sight
Wow.
to the knights. So
That's a
he
bit of a
scored
misplay there.
6 primary points.
Okay. So we see Matt rise up to 19 in the primary.
Yeah. That's 6 primary points. But you also see Jay score 2 for the secondary.
For defense.
Of course, you've also got the behind enemy lines.
For the Astra Militarum player.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got behind enemy lines and hold the line.
So 2 more for the Astra Militarum.
Absolutely. Not to mention, no, apologies, not to mention secure 4.
So 3 more.
Yeah.
So
We'll get confirmation from that, but I think it might have even been a full sweep because are those all 3 infantry squads, infantry units?
this will be infantry keyword, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The center unit will be infantry keyword, and I think there's a unit there on the right.
So this will be infantry keyword, this one the infantry keyword, and that looks like a model, and if it's a single model in Astra Militarum, it will have the infantry keyword.
Exactly.
So it looks like you would have got
it
points for that.
actually might be full sweep. We'll get confirmation for that you later on.
Okay, so potentially another Maelstrom point for the,
Yeah, absolutely.
which will, as we see them scoring more Maelstrom points, it's more and more difficult to get 50% more than your opponent.
Absolutely.
So the major victory in that regard is almost dwindling away now, realistically.
Yeah.
So here again, you see the Crusader coming aggressively forward.
Yeah, so Jay having the same cards, seeing the top of the knight's turn, same cards bar. Defender just
So he's not, he can't draw anymore now, and he's going to have 3 potentially at the end of the game, which will be a -1 to his secondary points.
Absolutely.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah, it is.
So Journey to Inter 40K is still holding out for the Catachan victory, like you predicted at the start of the game.
Yeah.
It certainly looks that way.
Certainly looking that way. Even though I was doubtful halfway through, thinking that the Battle of Attrition would have been won by the Knights.
Yeah.
But we still see a Crusader alive at 14 wounds.
Yeah.
Who knows what can happen?
I think not being able to shoot that was a very big misplay.
Absolutely.
Will it cost him the game? Probably not.
Probably.
But would it have helped? Yes, it would.
Absolutely.
So the Knight's going to open up on some salvo here, potentially into the Lemon Rust.
If you're Jay now, would you have considered going to the right, going through the Bulgrins and that infantry squad for the line breaker?
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly, try to win that tertiary.
Yeah, because you would win the tertiary, because that means you can
That's
only get
4
Slayer
points.
Warlord. If the
And a
game,
minor victory is that 7 points. You could have just done.
maybe he's banking on the game ending this turn, whereby the opponent won't have Slayer the Warlord, so it'll just be
Maybe
line
not.
breaker.
Yeah.
So it'll be 2-1.
Yeah, you're
on
right.
the tertiary.
You're right.
But if the game doesn't end, that's another misplay.
That's another misplay.
Interesting stuff. It's interesting to see how much.
Or playing it close, really. 'cause-
Risky.
Yeah, he's definitely risky because he could have just remained where he was.
Shot the guard and then that's it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's not going to make that much of an outcome in the.
Yeah, so there you go. The shooting phase here, we're seeing the stubbers going into the front guardsman killing.
Okay. Still so much shooting coming out of the Night Crusader. So much shooting. The Cross Crusader.
Wound. So 5 into the mortars at the back. The Grudge to Cellar mortars, not the
Grudge
Grudge
to
to
Cellar.
from the Ironstorm rocket pods.
Was that
2
2
wounds
wounds?
at -1.
2 dead.
And takes 4 damage. That's 2 bases. So you could get psychological from them.
And then Grudge to Cellar as well?
And then Grudge to Cellar. So we can still see him sneak second level.
Possibly.
Yeah, so here we go. Avenging Gatling Cannon going into the buff Leman Russ with Psychic Barrier and Night Shroud.
Hopefully we'll have an interview for you guys with the players at the end of the game, like before on the previous game.
Yeah, take that.
Mr. Stephen Prado. Yeah, that would be good.
So here we go. We're seeing. Yeah, so that's 4 wounds onto the Leman Russ, which is also still damaged. I'm not quite sure how many wounds he's got left. It fails.
So it's interesting that perhaps he doesn't have line of sight to the fresh Lemon Rust. He's electing to shoot the one with Night Shroud and Psychic Barrier.
Yeah. So that's 9 damage, and it's down to 2. It was an 11.
Wow.
That was very close.
That's a lot.
Here we go. That's the thermal cannon coming through. 2 hits.
2 hits. What's that? 1 wound?
1 wound, -4.
Straight through.
No, I believe it's a 6-up.
Oh yeah, because of Night Shroud, of course.
Exactly, for Psychic Barrier, which he fails.
Okay, just 2 or more here.
2 or more to actually just. Yeah, so there you go. Does kill it, but does not blow up.
Okay.
So that's the Lima Roscoe.
In the grand scheme of things, not that important.
No, not when you're considering the primaries at 19
Too
to
little,
2.
too late, possibly.
Yeah, but maybe secondary.
Yeah,
Maybe
possibly.
secondary. Keeping that, say, the wards away, killing that Lehman Russ as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So the Vindicar firing at the Psyker, which was behind the Knights.
Okay.
So hitting on 2, which hit, but rolling on 1 for the wound.
That's not what you like to see.
Not what you like to see.
You hate to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Kolorowski, what a game. Catachans fighting till the very end as usual. Yeah, exactly. It's very fitting for the fluff. It's been an incredible game, actually. We've been really lucky to have 3 really good games.
So here we go. We're going into the Knights charge phase. He's looking at those guardsmen right in front, and we're seeing the Overwatch coming through.
This is probably the end for the Guardsmen.
Most likely.
Yep. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Dead.
No wounds and no watch dealt.
Okay.
And made his charge.
Made the charge successful. Okay, straight in there. And he's going to be on the Eternal One mission. Objective, rather, but
Yeah.
at this point, it's way too little, too late.
Way too late. But maybe just looking for that line breaker.
Yeah, maybe, perhaps.
Just
Slingshot back in, get the line breaker,
Yeah.
max out on the tertiary, then at least you can definitely win the tertiary.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
We'll see how that goes.
We have one more game covered for you guys today. That will be game 4, and it will hopefully be people near the top table as stated before. Then we have 2 games going into tomorrow. And we're live across 3 platforms, the SM Bar Report Facebook page, and Hellstorm Wargaming Twitch and YouTube channel, guys, okay?
So here we see the 12 stomp attacks coming through.
Okay, it's very ominous, right? 12 attacks, and obviously with House Crash, you get to reroll fails on the charge.
Yeah, that's 7 wounds dealt.
7 wounds.
And that's perfect.
7 guys there, just what he needed on the button.
Yeah. So he's opted not to reroll the wounds because House crashed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I believe he's actually managed to kill them because he was hoping to leave 1 behind just for the failing morale. I think he's just perfectly managed to kill them.
Interestingly, I'm not sure if in the codex if it reads you may reroll failed hit rolls. It does read that, so
Yeah,
you have a decision if you want to or not.
Absolutely. So here we go, morale on the mortars. Yeah, so he's passed his morale on the mortars.
Okay, so that's not going to be all grudges. It's not going to be psychological warfare.
Yeah.
So again, we're very, very limited by the amount of points we can score with this Knight Army again.
Yeah, but let's not forget that he's got area denied.
Sure. He might even be getting 2 points for that one because the Muggins look like they might be out of range for the max range on the area denial. We'll soon find out.
So it's 1 primary point.
So I think that was the roll for the end of the game.
Yeah, so it's 1 primary point and it goes into round 6.
Wow. Okay. So let's see what happens in round 6, guys. We currently have 9 minutes remaining in the round.
Yeah.
But there's not much left on the bottom, so this should be done
It's
very
very
fast.
quick turns. They are playing very quickly themselves anyway. Well, if they roll up, we'll most likely see a 10-7. I didn't even think it was going to get to 10-7.
No.
I think I better misplay on Matt on that time, not moving as Demon Russ.
Yeah, because I mean, you'd imagine if, like we said briefly on stream, if that Crusader would have died, he probably would have been the handshake there. So currently, guys, we're in the Catachan round 6. I'll just change it out at the top there. But round 6, we're actually in game 3 of the Gibraltar Grand Tournament, the first of its kind. So is there a lot of preparation that goes into an event like this, Nick?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But you know how much credit.
Yeah,
so you've got your own events.
But
as well.
the scale of this one, the level of terrain on the boards is unmatched, really.
Yeah, it really is because we've accumulated so much terrain over the years. You know, Game Mats being generous enough to donate or sponsor us with the Game Mats. We've got a lot of terrain as well sponsored. It's since we've been going for 5 years to this standard, we've managed to accumulate a lot of sponsors.
Absolutely. And it's what helps you
accumulated the amount of terrain we have.
Exactly.
It's unbelievable.
It's incredible. The boards are not sparse either. There's a lot of terrain on every board, and what you see across big events is people tend to spread it out as much as they can. But the terrain on every board is incredible.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's a pleasure to play here.
At least 8 to 9 ruins on every board.
Yeah,
on every board.
Sure. It's how Warhammer 40K edition should be played.
Yeah, or at least enough line of sight blocking, just like you see on the live stream board.
Yeah,
You've got enough line of sight blocking that you can hide units, that you can maneuver. Like if you were Harlequins, you'd love to play on this type of board. If you were Craftworld Elder, Drakari, or Inari, anything, absolutely anything.
Just with a fire and fade back into cover, you shoot and fire and fade. Simple.
Yeah, absolutely. You would even you remember seeing Joe's army at the beginning, managing to move those repulsors around.
The fly keyword, yeah.
Exactly, with the fly keyword, moving over those, taking advantage of the terrain.
Yeah.
You know, it brings tactics into it, more than just shoot each other because it's open ground.
Exactly, yeah. There's no real tactics there. Scott Dice Gaming, hello. Welcome to the stream. Did Jay win his first game today? So Jay's actually played 2 games. We played 1 game on the Friday evening, guys, and Jay won that game. So Jay's actually got 2 32-0 max point wins. So this is top table, guys. These guys are both on full points. These guys are playing in battle round 3, and game 3, sorry. And this is the top table. Both of these guys can win the event. Interesting stuff. So like Hobo J points out, these are the 2 top players with max points. Time difference, okay. So this is a contentious point because obviously clocks go forward tomorrow as well. So we had to change the schedule ever so slightly to update that. So we're just getting some updates from the table here, guys. We're in battle round 6, Catachans turn. As you can see from a lot of the movement, some of the guys are moving into range. The Lemon Russ has moved slightly to draw line of sight onto the Crusader. And some more measuring from Mr. Mohawk himself.
Yeah, so here we go, going on to the objectives drawn by Matt.
Okay.
It's overwhelming firepower.
Should be doable.
Yeah, definitely. Defend 3, which you can see those infantry squads have just moved on
the top right-hand corner there for you guys.
So you've got Secure 1, which you can see the unit that's just moved up.
That's
by
right, yeah.
AJ. He moved them up for him. I think maybe looking for a move order.
Yeah, so Secure 1 is this objective here for you there with the arrow, and this is Defend 3, guys, so it's looking good again for the Catachan player.
Yeah, absolutely, and then you've got Defend 6, just on the
6
bottom right.
again, yeah, so this is something that's been scored consistently, Defend 6 here, although there is potentially nobody in range of that right now.
Yeah. Maybe he's just thinking like he won't need it.
Possibly. I mean, if the game doesn't go on to turn 7, you don't score the point anyway.
Yeah, absolutely, but here's a big one, he's Kingslayer.
Wow.
Kingslayer.
So that's D3, right?
That's D3, which is an Auto 2 as well.
Auto 2.
Yeah, Auto 2, and then we've got Hammer of the Emperor as well.
Hammer of the Emperor as well.
Yeah, so kill a unit holding an objective.
Yep.
Which at the moment, I believe the world is holding an objective.
Is it on the turn of war objective, yeah?
Yeah, so you've got the Hammer of the Emperor, so killing that one knight will give him the Hammer of the Emperor and Kingslayer and overwhelming firepower.
Oh. So 4 points.
Yeah.
From one model dying.
Absolutely, and then not to mention Slay the Warlord. So shooting phase has actually whiffed, so all the mortars and the Lemurus fired into the knight, failing to do anything.
Okay.
So now you've got the Bullgrains charging into the knight. So you can see there on the right, you can slightly see their base.
Yeah, a lot.
Just opting to charge into the knight.
So just here, guys, the Bullgrains are just hidden away.
So
they're just charging into the knight now. That's why you see the Overwatch from the knight player.
Yeah, so this is the Overwatch. He obviously dealt 1 wound, managed to save it by the looks of it.
So we've seen from this game how tough Bullgrains can be.
Yeah, absolutely durable. Absolutely durable.
Tal versus Drakari was first game today. It was actually Tal versus Craftworld Eldar today. Josh Hall with his Craftworld Aletok. The nasty -3 flyers.
Yeah, so just come through the table, no damage from the Overwatch, but failed the charge. He rolled a 7 and I believe he needed an 8.
Okay. So it looks like no points really scored apart from
a lot of secondary, I believe, anyway, with that with the Defend 3 which has started.
Yep.
And now Defend 6, I don't believe he's got anyone on it.
No, I don't think so.
I think he was anticipating to actually do more damage.
Yeah, I would say so. The same. And I'm not sure if he actually got onto Objective 1 up here either for secure Objective 1. So we're in Knight's turn 6 now.
Yeah, this is the Knight's turn 6.
Interesting to see what's going to happen with the Crusader. And we have 4 minutes left of the round. So 2 hours and 45 minutes these guys have been playing for. 2 hours and 41 minutes these guys have been playing for.
Yeah. So it's my mistake. It's not secure 1, it's Defend 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Defend 1.
So he's not began that yet, no?
Yeah. Well, he's defending 2 objectives, I believe.
Okay.
He's actually defending those objectives.
Very interesting stuff. So again, Jay has opted to not try and kill these guardsmen over here for line breaker.
Okay.
Very, very interesting.
So I believe they're calling over an official.
They're calling over an official, yeah. So we just need a little rule inquiry here regarding something. Not entirely sure what the problem is, but we'll soon find out.
What I believe is that on the bottom right, because again, it's my mistake. I thought that he would have been defend 1. That's why he would have been securing that. But apparently he's not in range of 1, but he is just in range of 6. It doesn't look like it, but he's apparently just.
Wow, that really doesn't look like it. So apparently, guys, objective 6 is this one here, and he's
okay. I think it's just Mikey. It's just Mikey. It's actually defending 3. It's not defend 6. It's just defend 3. So sorry for the confusion.
So have we scored defend 3 or are we beginning to score?
No, he's defending 3. So if he's not kicked off that objective, he'll be scoring it at the end of the next turn.
Okay. Glad we cleared that up, mate.
Glad we cleared that.
Thank you for that. So you have to give us a bit of a chance here, guys. We've been streaming for a long time.
Okay, so the contention was that he can't walk under the wing.
Yep, I can see that here.
Knight. He had to walk around it to actually get that charge. I think he might be looking for that old grudges.
Okay.
Old grudge to 7, apologies.
So that would be one Maelstrom at war point, obviously. And it's very close with the Maelstrom.
Absolutely. So the end of the movement phase, moving on to the shooting phase, has seen the Vindica actually kill a Psyker.
Wow.
He actually managed to kill one of the Astropaths. So here we go, Hellstorm into the mortar.
So we're just trying to think away wounds here, guys. We have 2 models left from the Imperial Knight player, very few models left from the Astra Militarum player as well. Nobody's in danger of a tabling during this term. We may have a 7th part around and then danger of a tabling may arise, but it looks like it's going to be an Astra Militarum victory now.
It's definitely looking that way.
Do you think it's deserved?
Absolutely. I mean, even with the Seas, he didn't really do much damage because you still saw the resurgence of the Siege Spirits.
Yep.
So.
It's been a great game. Great game to spectate. Absolutely.
So here we go, Avenging Catling Canning into the Bullgrins. He's managed to kill the mortar team with the Ironstone rocket pod.
Yep.
The guardsmen with the stabbers, and now we're seeing into the Avenging Catling Canning into the Bullgrins.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up. We do see a little bit of a crowd coming around the top table now, guys. This will happen. I mean, all the other rounds are finished. And there's a very, very few amount of the table still playing, and people want to see what's happening on the top table, guys. Like we said from the start, this is the top table. Both of these players are on max wins. Rank number 1 and rank number 2.
So here we go. Managing to score 9 wounds on the Bullgrins, rolling one at a time for the damage, obviously. And here we go on the last one.
So it looks as though the Bullgrins may be toast. And they are brown bread.
Yeah,
there you go.
Absolutely.
That's a unit kill.
Yeah, that's another unit kill.
So
and I'm not quite sure, but maybe that Jay might still have area denial.
Okay. Interesting.
So that's 2 Maelstrom points for Jay there.
Okay. And we're still in Jay's turn, so there still might be more to score. So we're currently drawing on the Maelstrom, guys. And
So he's charged into that commander sitting on the objective to stop those primary scores.
If Jay can get one more secondary point, and the game ends this turn, he will win a minor for the secondary.
He will win a minor for the secondary.
Which could be important.
Okay, so because he made that charge, he gets a point as well.
Oh, for the night specific one where you have to make a charge?
Absolutely.
Okay. So now all of a sudden we see Jay on 10 victory points.
So he's got 10 invulnerables to make from the 12 stomp attacks.
Not sure 10 invulnerables is going to be possible.
That's the commander gun.
Okay, so commander's dead. Yeah. That might be the warlord as well.
Well, I believe that might have been world kill as well. We'll get that confirmation for you later on.
I think we may have already killed the warlord actually because
absolutely, of course,
he scored it earlier.
Of course.
He scored it with a Vindicator, didn't he, earlier?
Yeah, of course, yeah. So I think that's end of game now. So Matt scored 2 points at the end of the turn.
Okay, for defense.
For the defend, yeah.
Okay, so Matt's back in the lead with the secondary.
Yeah, so that's back to up to 11 points, I believe.
So these scores are just provisional, guys. We're not sure if they're entirely correct, but we think they are accurate.
But Jay has scored 3 that turn.
Okay, yeah, so he was on 7 before, so now he'll be on 10.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Matt scores line breaker.
Oh, so the game has ended?
Yeah, I believe that the game may have ended.
So they rolled the dice and then
yeah, so they've rolled. I believe that they have rolled the dice or they pulled it. I'm not quite sure, but
okay. So Matt will score line breaker from the guardsman up in the far corner. Obviously, there's no slit of the wall for Matt. The Crusader is still alive. There's no first blood.
Yeah.
So that will only be 1 point for the tertiary there, guys. And I think if the game was over,
They're just tallying you up the points now.
Okay. So we'll see what happens.
If it stands now. Yeah. So remember how many cards they've got in their hand. They lose victory points.
Of course they do.
So they're just tallying up.
Moya 76. Thank you very much for the follow. It looks like Jay has 3 and Matt has 4. So they'll both lose 1 victory point potentially. So we're just confirming that now for you guys, okay?
Yeah. Just got confirmation from the table. They've lost 1 secondary point each.
Yep.
For having more than 3 cards.
Okay. So that will obviously only lead to a minor win in the males from now.
Because it's you lose a point in this scenario for every 3 cards.
Absolutely, yeah. So if you were to have 6 cards active, you would lose 2 points, guys. So for a minor win for the secondary, it's actually going to net you 9 points.
Yeah. So here we go. Just got the final confirmation from the table. It's a major victory for Matt, minor victory on the secondary, and a loss on the tertiary.
So it'll be 25 points to Matt and 7 points to Jay.
Absolutely.
What a game we just witnessed.
Absolutely.
Makes you very excited for the next game, huh?
Yep. I wonder what's the next one's going to be, but I think that was absolutely brilliant.
So we'll put the camera back on us, Nick. We'll say hi to the people.
Yep.
And we'll wait for the players to prepare for the interview coming up shortly. So welcome back, people. Welcome back. What a game. What a game.
I mean, we just saw Knight get killed by frag grenades and lasguns.
And we saw the Castellan look so menacing, whiffed his attacks, stayed alive, shot again, did some damage.
Yeah, absolutely. It was an amazing game. It was back and forth.
Scales, literally back and forth.
Yeah, it was literally back and forth. I believe that at the seas, if the Imperial Guard would have had a better turn, it would have been, I think it would have been a landslide for Guard.
Absolutely.
But I think that whiff at the beginning, because I think it was a bit of a whiff.
Yeah, no, I think it was. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think when you have the 4 Lemon Battle Tanks, you expect to kill a Knight, basically.
Absolutely.
And we didn't kill a single Knight. We did half the damage needed to kill a Castellan.
Absolutely. And then we saw the resurgence of the Machine Spirit.
Yep.
We saw that Castellan firing through, but again, not really dealing as much damage.
So it's whiffs both from turn 1.
Absolutely, which kept the game interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which kept the game interesting.
And you saw the power of playing for the Eternal War mission from the Imperial Guard player.
Yeah.
He absolutely ran away. It ended up being 19-3 in the Eternal War, which is ridiculous. And like we always point out all the way through these games, you can only draw at worst if you win the Eternal War.
Yeah. So, well, I think that the way Matt played it, when he moved off from the Supremacy, I think he was quite hesitant for this exact reason.
Yeah, exactly.
From drawing too many cards, you've got all these cards, then you can't capture them.
Exactly, yeah, it's tough.
And then you get what, -2, -3? It's a risk.
Crazy.
And then you, for some reason, instead of going for the minor victory, you've gone to a minor loss.
Yeah. So we have just heard that we don't have an interview with the players, unfortunately. So we will be back to you soon with Game 4, guys, in the Gibraltar Grand Tournament.
Yeah.
We'll be live on SM Battle Report's Facebook page, our own Twitch page, and our own YouTube channel. It remains to be seen what armies we'll have, but it'll be an exciting matchup again on hopefully the top table. So we'll see you very shortly, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next game.